Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I want to talk about what might look like a coincidence, and that is that the Seattle Mariners were playing Texas teams the days of both mass shootings in the month of August. August 3rd, 2019, the Seattle Mariners lost to the Houston Astros, and August 31st, the Mariners lost to the Texas Rangers, both games in Texas, the night or the day of the respective mass shootings. El Paso, August 3rd, and Odessa, August 31st. Now, if you're new here, I've been doing this for 6 years. I'm on my 18th channel. I've been censored for making videos just like the one you're going to see. And I imagine someday I'll be on my 19th and 20th channels. I am having a website built right now so that people don't have to keep coming to try and find me after I get censored from YouTube. But I don't ever intend to stop posting on YouTube because new people find this research every day. And anyhow, for 6 years I've been putting out this content showing and proving how the world of media and government is contrived theater to control the masses. And I truly have proven this with many correct predictions connecting news and sports. And USA Today wrote an article about me. If you haven't read this article before, just search USA Today's Zachary K. Hubbard. It was written January of 2016. This would be the one right here. Conspiracy theorist proves Freemasons rigged AFC and NFC championship game. And really this article, it if anything, it helped me out. It brought more people to my work. But the thing is, it was a disingenuous article. But what I had done that season to get USA Today's attention is I had called every detail of the Super Bowl correctly in October of that year. And if you ever check out the channel by Jeremy White, loyal follower, he found me off that Super Bowl. He won, I forget what he won, $15,000 taking my advice in October. And we had the Super Bowl 2 teams picked correctly. We had the MVP picked correctly. We said Von Miller would be the MVP. Broncos over Panthers. We said there'd be a Black Panther tribute at the game. Beyonce was criticized for dressing as a Black Panther at halftime. We said it'd be a tribute to Super Bowl 24. Broncos won with 24 points. And we did all this by connecting news and sports. And the reason I even thought to do this was because of, again, going back to September 11th. I remember how September 11th was a very obvious lie. It was a numerological ritual. 911, National Emergency Dialing Code, National Emergency for the nation. The buildings were perfect demolitions. They blamed it on a boogeyman in a cave that they couldn't find. The government couldn't find Osama bin Laden, but CNN had just interviewed him months earlier. I mean, think about that. And anyway, after that, I noticed how all the world of sports, like even on September 11th, ESPN all day ran the towers falling and didn't even cover sports. Just talked about September 11th. And, in every sports game after that, if you watch, they had to remind you about September 11th. And there was so much commentary on the escalation and the wars. And I just saw like how all media is essentially programming. It doesn't matter if you're watching the nightly news or the sports game. And then think about what happened after 9/11, the Patriot Act, and then all of a sudden the New England Patriots were the greatest team in the league. The Patriots having like the least athletic person in the entire league, Tom Brady, dominate the NFL in a league where you have some of the most amazing physical specimens there are in humanity. I mean, if anybody's ever seen Tom Brady with the shirt off, not very impressive. If anybody's ever seen him play sports, he can throw a ball on the spot, but so can a lot of men in this world. But just no athleticism, no speed, no agility, but all day in the pocket, receivers wide open game after game. Anyway, I saw all this stuff, for decades. And then finally I learned about this little Masonic secret, the practice of coding numbers into words. And I started to realize how the whole show really was rigged and tied together. And that brings me back to the point I want to make. The Mariners being in Texas the day of both shootings. And by the way, you can use this knowledge to see through the rigged sports games as well. You know, the last 2 days, so far we've gotten all three. For those of you who don't know, I run a service on Patreon. Soon I'll be moving it over to the website that's being built. But the last 3 days we've nailed all the Mariners and Rangers games correctly in this series by understanding this knowledge. Because the games are scripted the same way the news stories are. And here it is. Seattle in Texas for both of these mass shootings. Notice Seattle equals 107. So does shooting. Military is also 107 if you want to add to that list. Seattle, shooting, and military are all 107 and 44. Numbers that show up around these shooting events pretty much every time. And today's shooting was in Odessa, Texas. The way you'd write that on an envelope is 107. Notice Odessa, Texas, and shooting have overlap in 3 of the 4 ciphers. The 4 ciphers are the alphabetic order in reverse, and those 2 same orders just using the rules of numerology, which is making double-digit numbers single-digit numbers. So essentially you make all the letters of the alphabet using the alphabetic order a single-digit number. For example, the last letter of the alphabet, Z, is the 26th letter. The numerology of 26 is 2 plus 6 is 8. So Z would be worth 8. Just do the same thing to every single letter. Make them a single digit, add up the word. Alphabetic order forwards and backwards. But Saturday, it's also the one day of the week where with the alphabetic order and reverse alphabetic order, sums to 107 and 109 like shooting. You see? Both of these shootings in Texas were on Saturdays. El Paso, August 3rd. Odessa, August 31st. And notice that 107 is the 28th prime number. Those 2 shootings were 28 days apart. Now notice Seattle sums to 19 and 28. Seattle has a Gematria value of 19 and 28. Before this year began, I said, just watch Seattle in this year. You're going to see a lot of interesting Seattle stories, and we have. The year began with the death of one of the Nordstrom's brothers, the client Joe, the giant clothing chain out of Seattle. Right at the beginning of the year, one of the CEO brothers died. By the numbers, and go back and watch my video on that. You know, Jeff Bezos and Amazon, you've been hearing about them all year. His divorce right at the beginning of the year. Seattle man. Plus a whole lot more. It's been a year full of Seattle stories. Go back through the video archives. And I said just watch Seattle because I think it is the only major city in the U.S. that has a Gematria value of 19. The only one. Just like chaos. And the Masonic agenda is order out of chaos. Now to look at Seattle's coordinates, the 47th parallel north, the 122nd meridian west. Today, August 31st, leaves 122 days left in the year. Freemason has a Gematria of 122. We'll talk more about that. So does Kansas City, and the reason I wrote that up here is for those of you who are Seattle Mariners fans. You probably know that the Mariners began with the league's best record this year, the 2019 season. Mariners also equals 43. It's their 43rd season. For a little more info, Seattle Seahawks is 43. They won their only Super Bowl with 43 points. Anyway, the Mariners began this year with the league's best record, 12-2. 12-2, like 1-2-2, like the 122nd meridian. And they did that by beating Kansas City to become 12-2, which when you know this knowledge was as easy to see as anything. You know, Mariners this year beginning 12-2 over the perfect opponent. Of course, that's happening, and it did. And, you know, just the other day we were talking about the death of Prince's brother in Kansas City. Kansas City also happens to sum to 67, the 19th prime, if you use the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. The other day we read about the death of Prince's brother in Kansas City. Kansas City, Missouri, 124 and 241. Prince's brother died there on the 241st day of the year, leaving 124 days remaining. So again, this knowledge used every single day to rig sports games, to contrive news stories. For ritual murder, again, listen to that song Murder by Numbers, where killing's the sport of the elite. It's as simple as A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. The elite is the cabal. This code of letters and numbers comes from Kabbalah, which is what the cabal is named after, which is what Masonry is based in. But with regards to Seattle's coordinates and them being used in these rituals, Seattle on the 47th parallel, the Space Needle, the most known monument there, has a rotating restaurant that does a full rotation every 47 minutes. I used to live right next to the thing. That's how for anyone going, how do you know that? I used to live in Seattle. But 47 degrees on the Masonic Scottish Rite compass out of France. And we're going to be talking about France in a minute, because in France today, there's a mass stabbing story the same day as the mass shooting. And realize that's how they control, the divided populace that they have. If you turn into CNN, you're going to hear their anchors calling for gun control. And if you turn into Fox News, you're going to hear, comments about, well, look, if you take away the guns, you have things like what you see in France and Japan and London with the mass stabbings. Would you rather be stabbed to death or shot to death? And understand, these things are being orchestrated worldwide to set up these narratives, to keep people divided and fighting over the same arguments, and first, they also have the majority. Okay, so that's like the small group of people who are even paying attention to anything. Then you have the bigger group of people, and all they're doing is into entertainment, movies, sports, TV shows, and that's what this is. But you look and you see how all of these entertainment mediums are still programming the populace with the same type of thoughts and ideas. So anyway, and when you learn the code, you see how it's all being orchestrated by a certain code, Kabbalah. And if you're asking why anybody would do this, letters and numbers, it's because in Kabbalah, it's stated that God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. And this is how the Cabal plays God over the masses, with their rigged games and their endless propaganda that's, constantly reinforcing, bow down, don't believe your own eyes, trust the authority, trust the government, trust the news, don't think, believe, lie right in the middle of the word, believe, And you get it from a whole bunch of angles in this society. You get it from a young age, well, in a lot of families. Religion essentially teaches you to trust and believe and not really think or question. School does the same thing to you. News media does the same thing to you. And the next thing you know, everyone around you is doing the same thing to you because they're all programmed. They can't see the obvious. A guy sits here for 6 years and calls nearly every sports championship. How many stories before they happen? And every day he has people showing up and just saying, this is dumb. This is a coincidence. No. Sorry, it's not. It's been well proven for several years. You're just late to the party. So, let's talk about Houston. Let's talk about we talked about the USA Today article written. Let's look at the Vice Sports article written. What did they make fun of? If you type in Vice Sports Zachary K. Hubbard, they had to make fun of me after I called the 113th World Series correctly. Astros over Dodgers, and it was all set up with the flooding of Harvey and the burning of Los Angeles, the La Tuna fires. And I showed people, I said, do you think it's a coincidence that Matt Harvey is the first major league pitcher to pitch in Houston after Hurricane Harvey? And understand, Matt Harvey wasn't a Houston Astro. I believe he played for the Mets at the time. Interleague play game. Harvey, the first pitcher in Houston after Harvey. And as I pointed out, that game to the start of the World Series was 52 days. Flood equals 52. So does Earth. So does Hurricane. I said it's a no-brainer that the Astros are going to the World Series. And I said, look at how LA's burning right now. These are your two big news stories synced up with the World Series. Water puts out fires. Astros over Dodgers. And, this is the same Vice that has the contract with HBO that does their propaganda series on there. But, he's making fun of what I wrote about, which was correct after the World Series is over. It's but then you look at these headlines that they write. Wacko YouTuber proves World Series was rigged. They're making fun of me, but at the same time, they're actually saying, dude, he is showing you with definitive evidence year after year of how things are rigged and scripted. So, anyway, we still have a lot more to talk about. Mariners, Astros, Mariners, Rangers. These are the games in Texas, the day of both mass shootings in Texas. And again, this is why. Sports and news are scripted, and they're all controlled by the same secret societies, which is what we're going to cover next. Seattle 107, shooting 107, Odessa, Texas 107, Saturday, the day of the week that has the 107 connection. And 107 the 28th prime, 28 days from both games, 28 days from both shootings. Seattle, 28. So just wanted to review that before we go on to the next point. Also, let's not forget that the last time there was a shooting in Texas, there was a combined team no-hitter by the Astros against the Mariners after they had a combined team no-hitter thrown against them by the Angels the day of the tribute to Tyler Skaggs, who died while playing in a series in Texas against the Rangers. And the team no-hitter against the Mariners was the very first team no-hitter in California state history, in MLB history, since the day Tyler Skaggs was born. I mean, can you talk about rigged and scripted and more mocking and in your face than that? You can actually. September 11th. Even more obvious, you know. Shrub the first 8 years of Clinton and then shrub the second in an election that it comes down to the state where his brother's the governor. I mean, let's not even get started. His brother was the 43rd governor. His father was the 43rd vice president. He became the 43rd president. I'm talking about George W. Bush, who I call Shrub. Shrub the second. Little Shrub. I mean, like seriously? And then you learn this code, and you realize that Yale equals 43, so does Masonic. The letters D.C., Washington, D.C. D's the fourth letter, C's the third, named after a Freemason. Both Bushes went to Yale, Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones equals 41. The father was number 41, plus so much more. That's why I said this past year he wouldn't live past November. He wouldn't live past November. You know, was that not something I said? What day did he die? November 30th, 11 plus 30, 41? Anyway. God, I should go back and show you guys my favorite call of this entire MLB season. George Herbert Walker Bush died at age 94. There was a game perfectly synced up with the Rangers game this year. Speaking of how the Rangers are involved in the ritual today, there was a game perfectly synced up with the Rangers this year. And I said, Rangers are definitely winning this one. It's all about 94. And they won the game 9-4. The Bush family used to run the Texas Rangers, if you didn't know that. So just realize how all this stuff can be orchestrated. Like if you're out there going like, how could this be done? It's because you're not thinking. You have men who've sat at the head of the CIA, that been in the Oval Office, you know, that are members of powerful secret societies. And they've also been the owners of baseball teams. Does that give you a clue into the inside of who some of these people might be that run these sports teams? Do you think it's just an abstraction, the Bushes? You don't even know who most of these owners are or how they got to be as wealthy and powerful as they are. You don't know who these people are. You know, you see them sometimes out there, you know, I don't know, bullshitting you about their rigged sports leagues that are no more realistic than the WWE, that are scripted to the point all night, every night. I mean, anyway. We'll talk more about this Tyler Skaggs ritual because it's going to connect to the next point of this discussion. So this is what's going on today in France. Asylum seeker arrested in France knife attack that left 1 dead, 9 wounded. Remember, before this year began, I said look for the 19 in chaos headlines. Chaos equals 19, the Masonic agenda, as well as the Jesuit agenda. That's what we're going to talk about here. The Scottish Rite and the Jesuits, because do they ever have a relationship in history? And boy, do they ever connect to France and Washington, D.C. France and Washington, D.C., what do those places have anything to do with each other? How about like all the founders of the nation? Isn't it weird that they were in France and D.C.? I'm going to show you how all this really comes together. And again, I've written a book about this. I've been talking about this stuff for years. The fact that the whole truth community isn't buzzing with this knowledge and helping share this knowledge should really show you what the truth community is really about. And it's not about helping end the tyranny. Most of it's about selling t-shirts and keeping you trapped in the box, the matrix. And I hate when people come here and say that I'm a shill. I'm giving people definitive proof and understanding of how and why to leave the matrix of bullshit, which so many people are so occupied, including almost every truth channel on here, that just regurgitates on the news and adds some extra fear on it, legitimizes it. They're here to sell t-shirts. They're here for views ad dollars. And don't be critical that I have ads on my channel. If you don't know the history, 17 channels deleted, no ads on them. I finally put ads on the 18th channel, and they let the thing stay up. So, you know, they demonetize every video. I still see they run ads, but the channel exists. So, I did always tell people you'd never see ads on one of my channel. 18th channel, I said, fine, I'm going to try something new. So far, it's worked. I've been up for just over a year without being deleted again. Okay, so let's talk about this asylum seeker. Notice the one person dead is 19 years old. 1 dead, 9 injured, 19-year-old. The attack happened around 4:30 p.m. Laurent Bonnevet metro station was the location in a town of Villeurbanne or Villeurbanne, I don't know how you say it, near Lyon. And then look at the attacker, a 33-year-old, right? Didn't I just say this earlier today, how 33 just always finds itself into these divisive, fear-mongering, you know, government programming stories? I mean, it really does. It's just like the same numbers day after day, the same ages day after day. And again, 19 represents chaos in this code, which is Masonic. The Masonic and the Jesuits share the motto of order out of chaos, or order ab chao. And chaos 19, it's 2019, 1 dead, 9 injured, a 19-year-old. Order out of chaos is 78. I forgot to put it up here, but today does have 78 date numerology, August 31st, 2019. One of your top sports headlines today is this. On the 78 date numerology, number 78. We're going to get to what's up with 78 here. Remember, Genesis equals 78. The 78th verse of Genesis is a tribute to Kabbalah, where this code of letters and numbers comes from. But notice Scottish Rite and Jesuit are both 78. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Jesuit 78. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology, Scottish Rite is 78, just like order out of chaos. And again, your top sports headline today. Do you think in this picture they want it to be clear that 78 has something to do with it? But look at this. The stabbing was at this location that equals 115, right? 115, big number with the Masons, has a lot to do with killing. One of the best examples is JFK, killed in the middle of Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. November 22nd, 1963, 11 plus 22 plus 19 plus 63 is 115, the date numerology. Masonics 115, Killings 115, France, where this happened, is 115. Freemasons, the plural, is 115. And look at this. Look at this about 115. This is how it comes together. The motto shared by the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite and the Jesuit Templars is right here, a Latin phrase that I would butcher. And it sums to 115. It sums to 115. Okay? Masonic 115, France 115. Now, who has history in France and Washington, D.C. are the Jesuits and the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. They both have the history in France and in Washington, D.C. The Jesuits, the first meeting before they were officially established was August 15th in France. And the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry came to power in France. Two powerful secret societies present all over the world that both have a lot of history in France and also Washington, D.C. When Washington, D.C., was before the time of Washington, D.C., that area was the Catholic colony. That's why it's between Virginia and Maryland, Virgin Mary. And it was policed and enforced by the Jesuits while it was the Catholic colony. And now look what's there. It's named Washington, D.C. after the Scottish Rite Freemason George Washington. And, the House of the Temple, the Scottish Rite headquarters, it's right there in D.C. Notice how the motto is at the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite that's shared with the Jesuits. The Scottish Rite goes 31 through 33. And what's considered the most pure cipher of the 4 base ciphers, it's the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. America is 32. You see that? See the 49 as well. We're going to go over all these numbers right here with America. These are the 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. America, with the alphabetic order 50, America, the land of 50 states and a million territories. 32, 7, 4, 1776. 7 plus 4 plus 1 plus 7 plus 7 plus 6 equals 32. Not an accident. America, 32. America, 139 and 49. Again, Scottish is 32 and 49. You see that? And Washington, like the Scottish Rite Freemason, the nation's capital, 49 and 50. You see that? Like America. Hey, for Huskies fans today, your coach picked up his 140th all-time win versus Eastern Washington, an all-Washington matchup. He gets the 140th win. You know. For any BYU fans that probably aren't watching, your team just lost to Utah, and the Utah coach got his 121st all-time win. Type out Brigham Young University. Brigham Young University. 121. You see this? The Florida coach, he got his 80th career win over the Miami Hurricanes. 80. And I'm telling you, use this knowledge week after week. You might be surprised how many games line up that way week after week after week. And again, American football credited to Freemasonry, Walter Camp out of Yale, who was likely a member of Skull and Bones. Again, you got to look at who's controlling all these things really. And how are they controlling them? Oh, well, I've been showing you that for 6 years. And, you know, several other people have come along and launched their own channels, and they've been sharing. So there's really been a team of us on YouTube for about 5 years. We don't work together, but we learn from each other, and we share this knowledge. And somehow the world sleeps on it. And all the big YouTube channels make fun of it and ignore it. What's that about? Supposedly here trying to end the cabal. But hold on. I was coming back to America. We're not done. 139? That's an interesting number. Freemasonry 139. So you see, all 4 of these ciphers important. Alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. And hell, since we were talking baseball, let's talk about it a little bit more. Baseball with the alphabetic order. 54. 54. How many outs are in a baseball game? Is it 54 in a complete game? It sure is. How many half innings are there in a baseball game? Are there 18? Did Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961? 61, the 18th prime number baseball. If you go back and watch that highlight, the pitcher was number 39 and the catcher was number 22. 39 plus 22, 61. New York, big number in New York, 39. You know, pretty much everything in New York's 39. NY's 39, NYC's 39, it's the Empire State 39, George 39, Clinton 39. Born in 1739, was the first governor of New York. His birthday was July 26th, just like New York was born July 26th on a date with 39 numerology. The United Nations in New York's 39 floors tall. You know, the G-Men. That team that wins Super Bowls for New York, 39. Masonry, 39, based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. There's a reason for all these numbers. You know, they're not arbitrary. Most of them are tracing back to the Bible. But, let me see. Let's get back to this motto thing, right? The 32nd degree. Is 32 a little bit more cleared up for you? Something I noticed about 32, I just got to say, in light of these people doing the programming, something I noticed about 32 in light of it being the America number, I noticed this when I first began, when I just wrote things down in a journal, just pencil and paper, did everything by hand. If you guys don't know, this calculator that was built, it was built by somebody who thought I was insane. And he built his own calculator because he's a computer guy to make the decodes fast. And he was going to prove that it was all coincidental. And then he realized that it wasn't. And then he built this website so everybody could use it. So that's the history of this website. If you haven't been here since the beginning, I used to do things on pencil and paper and a whiteboard. But I know you guys want me to get to that straight parade, don't you? But, shoot, I forgot the point I was going to make about... talking too much. I forgot the point. Okay, it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Let's see here. What's up, chat? Forgot I was live streaming for a minute. Okay, the 32nd degree, the Scottish Rite, the Jesuits, they share this motto, 115. It's coded in today's ritual, right? The stabbing in France at the station that's 115. Okay, so we established the 115 point. They said this incident in France was at 4:30, right? Where a person was killed. Look at how Masonic and killing are both 115 and 43. 115 and 43. The Freemasons and the Jesuits, they have this overlap. Freemason and Jesuit, both 42. Both 42. Now, the town that they said this station was outside of, Villeurbanne or Villeurbanne or Villeurbanne, however you say it, Villeurbanne, no idea. However you say it, near Lyon, look at its gematria. 54 and 72, just like Jesuit order. 54-72. And notice just outside Lyon, Lyon's 66 like Texas. Remember when you write out 33, police, masonry, federal, secrecy order, they're all 33. France is home with a plus 33 dialing code. And notice what they reported in the Texas shooting on the same day as the stabbing, August 31st. 5 dead, 21 injured. Remember, that's 26 people. Chaos is 26. They reported 26 injured for a minute at the El Paso and the Dayton shootings of August 3rd and August 4th. But notice 5 dead. They started with 1 dead. Then it just jumped to 5, you know. But if you write out 5, it's 66, like Odessa, Texas, like movie theater. Supposedly the suspect was killed near a movie theater. And again, JFK, killed in Dealey Plaza in Texas, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason on what day? November 22nd, 11 plus 22, 33. A lot of people say Dallas is on the 33rd parallel, but it's not. It's on the 32nd, which should, you know, you don't have to make everything 33. Because, see, that's kind of like, the truth community knows all these false things. Like, everything is 33. 33 is definitely important, but these numbers are a language. And that's why you see so many truth channels changing things like Dallas coordinate. Dallas might sprawl into the 33rd parallel, but Dealey Plaza is not on the 33rd parallel. It's on the 32nd. But now you know what's up with 32. It's a number 2. It's a very high degree in the Scottish Rite, which has a lot of significance, especially to this nation. And that's the assassination of an American president. But the 33 is there as well. And they say Zapruder, who made the film, was a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. But like I was saying, you know, the name Kennedy's 33, the name Kennedy's 78. In today's earlier decode, I talked about the stabbing of Sirhan, and the 78 ritual there. He's who shot RFK, the brother of JFK, in 2 very similar incidents that have the numbers of masonry all over. But JFK, his assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, you know, arrested at a theater, and then Lincoln shot in a theater. I'm sure you've heard the riddle with Lincoln and Kennedy before, and their 2 assassinations and all the parallels. If you read my book, I build on those parallels, plus you can use the Gematria knowledge and see really, you know, how tight the 2 incidents are. But 5, when you write out 5, again, 66, like Odessa, Texas, like movie theater, like mass shooting, like Texas. 5 dead, 21 injured. 5 plus 21, 26. About that 21, there's a lot to it. One of it is if you add 1 through 6 together, it equals 21. 21's the 6th triangular number. Saturday is named after Saturn, the 6th planet. And Saturn, in what's considered the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, is 21. You see that? They said, did you see how Saturn was 93? Saturn's related with time, just like how they tell you the sun, which is related with time, is 93 million miles away. Notice Saturn also, while we're here, is 42, like Jesuit, like Freemason. All this occult knowledge, astrology, numerology, Gematria, Kabbalah, Kundalini, Hermeticism, alchemy, all these things are very important to the secret societies, and to the masses like us, this stuff's a waste of time. That's the common consensus about this type of knowledge. It's a waste of time. I don't need to know anything about that. That has nothing to do with my life. Well, you're wrong. You are wrong. It has everything to do with your life, because every day the people who rule over you, and a lot of you like being ruled over. A lot of you like, this world enough to not look into things. You like the convenience, you like the food, the entertainment, the easiness. That's what the Cabbal's done. They built a world that's pretty easy. No one's really starving. So they know if there's food problems, then things change. That's why they keep the food shelves stocked. They know how to prevent a revolution unless they want one to happen. This is another thing, another conversation for another day. They know how to keep people comfortable right there in their seat as they strip their rights and liberties away, almost in an entertaining sense. Definitely in a mocking sense. What I said in today's earlier live stream, they were reporting 2 shooters driving 2 different cars, shooting from their car. How can you have a report like that? 2 different shooters, 2 cars. They even reported 2 different cars, a Honda and a Toyota. And then they just decided it was 1 shooter and a Toyota, who also took a U.S. Postal Service vehicle. And hold on, I forgot to show you that about the U.S. Postal Service thing. And think about going postal, the 80s and 90s shootings, going postal. See how they bring it all together? There's something there too. But anyway, Saturn 93, U.S. Postal Service is 93. It's also 21, which isn't too far, or 201, which isn't too far off from 21. But again, that story is just a remind older people about the shootings of 3 decades prior. So, you get the reporting of 5. And Andrew Cuomo, the governor in New York, who also has the brother on CNN, who will probably be regurgitating these same lines all week. How many more families will lose loved ones? And realize these people who they're hiring, they are actors. Chris Cuomo is absolutely an actor. Chris Cuomo, whenever he does his broadcast, he looks like he can't wait to get off the air, to stuff another line up his nose. And Chris Cuomo's probably watching my video and saying, well, you look like you're stoned off your ass. But that's just how my eyes look, truth seeker, because I'm looking down at the camera. Anyhow, how many more families will we lose? How many more families will lose loved ones? Notice that sums to 188. Number we see all the time. Count up your U.S. dollar bill denominations. The 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100. 188. 188. Bavarian Illuminati equals 188. 188. The sum of the dollar bill denominations. The $1 bill, the one they'll never change. The one with all the Illuminati and Masonic symbolism all over it. But also, what's in the Scottish Rite structures? The Latin motto for order out of chaos sums to 188. And George Washington penned a letter saying he thought the Scottish Rite might have been infiltrated by the Bavarian Illuminati, which was established May 1st, 1776, just before the American and French Revolutions. Which, look, let's just make a point about France and the United States right now. France's Independence Day, if you don't know this, is July 14th. July 14th, right? Freemason is 147, right? All of these numbers are super relevant to Freemasonry. All of them. All of them. Again, you learn these 4 ciphers. It's not like just a collage of numbers. And some people come in and they're like, I think you're just putting things together. If that were true, then how would I have so many correct predictions? There's no answer for that, because the answer is we're not just putting things together. You can do that. Don't get me wrong. You can take this study and make all sorts of wild assumptions, but the difference is that the way we're using the code is intelligently, and we're proving the same repetitive patterns, how these numbers are used systematically, and we're successfully predicting events before they happen. And for the idiot in the comments will say, well, you were wrong about this. Okay, when you're making predictions about the future, I've gotten a lot right at a very high percentage. And again, to do a baseball analogy, since we're talking about baseball too, a good batting average in Major League Baseball is 300. If you get a hit 3 out of 10 times, I predict things at a lot higher rate, and you don't have anything to compare me to. You don't. You do not, because nobody's ever done this before. So understanding the way these people operate and what they might do, and getting it right at a ratio that's definitely better than 50%, that's pretty impressive. I could have made a prediction, 28 days ago that there'd be another shooting when Seattle was in town in Texas, because I saw this in advance, and maybe it wouldn't happen that day. And just because it didn't happen doesn't mean I didn't make an intelligent assumption, because that's when I'm wrong about things. It's not like because I laid out some, bogus information or, some wild assumption. I'm just showing, this is the way they operate. This might be the next day that you see the mass shooting here. And, for example, we did call the weekend of the Vegas shooting, and I did say for an entire year that we might see the biggest false flag in the U.S. since September 11th, 2001, and I would say that's what it was. What they say, 500 and some people were shot? There hasn't been any other story like that since 9/11. No mass, killing event where 1,500 people died. Not even close. It was all because of understanding this knowledge and how it's used and who uses it. And that one was close to Yom Kippur, the most special Jewish holy day about atonement for your sins, and Sin City gets shot up. By the way, forgot to make the point all the way. France, Bastille Day, July 14th, 14/7's there, Independence Day. And what is it in the U.S.? It's 7-4. Masonic 74, Occult 74, Gematria 74. That's this practice of coding numbers into words. English is 74. Only one of the 50 states sums to 74. It's Oregon, the 33rd state. 74, 33. Special pairing. See the video I did last weekend on the death of the police officer, and you'll learn a lot about 74 and 33. But look at this. Holiday is 74, and with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, when I first began doing the study, I just did the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. That's all I did. These two ciphers, I learned about them in Manly P. Hall's book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. These are the two ciphers he reveals. I noticed early on in my research how all these things connected to 74, and Independence Day was 74. I said, that's not an accident. It's not an accident at all. And then you look at Bastille Day when you learn the alphabetic order in reverse. You know how we just saw how Freemasons 147? Again, Washington, D.C. is named after George Washington, the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. And on the White House, there are 147 windows. Look it up if you doubt me. There's 147. Look at this. U.S. President is 147. President of the United States is 147. No? Does that seem coincidental to you? Numbers get used all the time, too. They're not arbitrary. Police is run by Freemasonry. There's one cipher outside of these base ciphers you can experiment with. It's Jewish Gematria. It's very important. It's very important. When I first started teaching, I used these two ciphers, and then the next cipher I learned about was Jewish Gematria, even before the reverse. Police is 147 in Jewish. Freemasonry, police. You see how police is 30 over here? Texas is 30. For a minute, they reported 20 shot in one town, 10 shot in another today. 30 people. And did you see how police was 102? Both towns are on the 102nd Meridian West. Odessa and can't think of the other town's name right now, but anyway. Police is 60, just like order as well. Get order out of chaos. Who's being used as the tools on the chessboard? Who's being used as the pawn pieces to forward the agenda? It's not an accident that Masonic lodges have black and white floors. It's chess. Black, white, Masonic lodges, pawns, They would be the police and the military. They're used as tools in the ongoing agenda. So, I hope I'm making my point clearly. I don't know if my mood is right to present this. I'm just annoyed, and I'm just how can I communicate everything and get people to actually take it seriously? So, by the way, the Jesuit Formation Day in Paris, France, August 15th, 15/8, Freemasonry 158. What's the new doofus with the same haircut as Donald Trump over in the UK? Is his name Boris? Is his name Boris Johnson? I cannot think of his name right now. I just think of him as Trump number 2. Boris Johnson. That is his name. Look at this. Boris Johnson is 158. 158. And he took office exactly 158 weeks after Theresa May took office. You think that's an accident? Boris Johnson's 158 and 59. Remember, Freemasonry is 59 in Hebrew and in English. 59 is the 17th prime number. The 17th prime. Modern Freemasonry began in 1717 in London. London 74 like Masonic, just using the alphabetic order. Hold on, I'm taking calls right now. London 74 just like Masonic. Hold on, let me mute that. But Boris Johnson, just another example of what's going on in this world, these puppets, the theater show. Anyway, since from the day modern Freemasonry was established to the day that the United States of America was established, 1776, July 4th, was 59 years and a couple months. Freemasonry was officially established June 24th, 1717. So I guess 59 years and 2 weeks about. Not months. Freemasonry in Hebrew and English, 59, the 17th prime, established in 1717. Mason and the most pure cipher, 17. Look at 73, United, 73, Kingdom, 73. Who do you think is in the United Kingdom? Do you think the United States of America is involved in that? Here, I'll tell you another good one. Dunblane. The Dunblane massacre that got gun rights taken away in the UK. That happened March 13th, 96, Freemason 96. That was a leap year. That was the 73rd day of the year, March 13th. Remember that? It was a gunman randomly going. They love that word random in these mass shootings. These just passionate killers that just kill people randomly. They have no motive. They're just I'm just going to go shoot that place. Where police also conduct drills, which includes schools, theaters, malls. Where was today's shooter found in Texas? At a mall? It was 2 people in 2 cars shooting from their cars. How do you report that all over the national news and then go with, oh, actually it was just one guy? It was 3 guys in fatigues out the back of the school, and then it was one skinny 112-pound kid, Adam Lanza. Let me roll into that right now. Dunblane got gun rights taken away by shooting first graders in the UK. Ever since Adam Lanza targeted first graders in Sandy Hook, Adam Lanza 73, Sandy Hook is on the 73rd meridian west, the coordinate. Dunblane was on the 73rd day of the year. Look at the initials for Adam Lanza. A is 1, L is 12. 112. Every single news source reported that Adam Lanza was 112 pounds. His birthday is April 22nd, the 112th day of the year. Reportedly. He's probably a made-up character. But Dunblane was March 13th, 96. 3 plus 13 plus 96 is 112. You see what they're doing here? The Jesuits operate in 112 countries. The Masons' symbol are instruments of geometry and mathematics. Mathematics, 112. You see? You see? We're going to get to that straight parade eventually, I promise. And number 78 getting traded on the 78 date numerology. But here's the part about how they changed the story. At Sandy Hook, they first reported 3 guys in fatigues out the back of the school into the woods, and then it was, again, 112 Pound skinny kid. The other year, the shooting, you had the 2 shootings in Chicago of Ronald Johnson, I think, and Laquan McDonald. You had the 2 Chicago shootings, Ronald and McDonald. And then at the same time, you had a mass shooting at a San Bernardino, which is where the whole McDonald's thing really blew up from, San Bernardino. So you had Ronald McDonald shot in Chicago, which is where the headquarters of McDonald's is. If you didn't know that, McDonald's is headquartered just outside Chicago. Not far from Zion, Illinois. If you guys ever seen that movie about the McDonald's founder, you should watch it. It's educational. It's about how a Jewish man selling Catholic Bibles revolutionized McDonald's and made it the company it was. If you didn't know that movie, The Founder, that's the story it tells. Ray Kroc. But that story, that shooting in San Bernardino, they said that 3 white men in army fatigues were wanted, and then 8 hours later, the story became the shooters were a Middle Eastern married couple. I mean, seriously? So here it is today. Police initially reported that there could be more than one shooter. You guys reported that there were 2 cars, 2 shooters, and they were shooting from their car. That's what you reported. But Odessa Police Chief Michael Jerk, I'm sure that's how you pronounce it, Steve Martin, the jerk. Michael Jerky later said there was only one. Is that even a real name? Once this individual was taken out of the picture, there have been no more victims, Jerky said. Jerky described the suspect as a white male in his 30s, Texas 30, police 30. For a minute they reported 30 shot in their ever-changing numbers, which later dropped down to 26 because chaos is also 26 and the agenda is order out of chaos. And then they get in the thing about the postal truck. Again, you know how I said it seemed like there was a baseball riddle here with Seattle? Remember how I said that? Remember, Seattle was in town for both Texas shootings, how this whole thing started? Seattle versus the Astros, August 3rd. Seattle versus the Rangers, both games in Texas. Seattle 107, shooting 107. Odessa, Texas 107, Saturday 107. 107 is the 28th prime. The shootings are 28 days apart. A baseball riddle here. Notice that going postal, is that the phrase? Yep, going postal. 54, 54, 162. Baseball, 54, 54, 162. And there's 162 games in a Major League Baseball season. You write out Major League Baseball at the alphabetic order, it's 162. So, anyway, do you think this is an accident that they get this detail in? This is how they create their riddles. You see how going postal is also 135? Today is August 31st, the 243rd day of the year, right? Right? Central Intelligence Agency is 243 and 135. And I see my camera froze. Remember the woman who's the head of the CIA? Let me show you. What's her name? Sherry Haspel. Haspel, CIA. I'll look it up this way. Gina Cherry Haspel. Look at this woman's full name. And a big part of her swearing-in process when she joined the CIA was on May 13th. She was officially put in, I believe, May 17th, the 137th day of the year, 137 days from her birthday, the head of the CIA. But anyway, that's the other thing that's in going postal, that 135. And again, Central Intelligence Agency is 243 and 135, like the head of the CIA is 135. And again, who's really orchestrating all this stuff? And like I said earlier, Texas Rangers, they've been run by the Bush family, who've had senators, presidents, CIA heads. You don't think it's possible with other sports teams that all the same thing's going on? Because you're not thinking if you deny this. Government is here to control. Sports and entertainment have been used by governments to control the masses forever. The CIA is about mind controlling the populace. This has even been admitted essentially by them. And again, 1 month after JFK was assassinated, Truman, the 33rd president who created the CIA by signing it into law, he said that the whole thing needed to be gutted and all of its powers needed to be taken away. It could only be used to gather intelligence. Clear sign that he knew it had something to do with whatever happened to JFK. And think about what the post office is. It's a government service too. So, and they said the theater that he was shot at was Synergy. Synergy means, to take more than one part, and the sum of the parts is greater than what they would all be independently. Kind of like a good relationship, right? Two people are so much more when there's something special together, whether they're really good friends or, just like a great married couple. Synergy. And think about what they're trying to do here. They're using, the post office, the police department, probably the FBI, CIA, ATF. They're using the fourth branch of government, which people forget is the news media. It's the propaganda wing. They're using other first responders. And you'll find that what heads all those things, what brings it all together, is Masonry. People who are probably involved with both Masonry and the Jesuit order. See, the Catholic Church, if you're not aware, they front and say that they have nothing to do with Freemasonry. Freemasonry's banned, but I think that's just all part of the public perception. And the Jesuits are the link. The cabal. So again, let's just go over things. August 31st, 2019 was a date with 78 and 51 numerology. Mass shooting has Gematria 51 and 78. Today's shooting was in Midland, Texas and Odessa, Texas. Midland, Texas is 38, like death, like murder, like killing. Again, that movie poster, Murder by Numbers. The E changed to a 3, the B changed to an 8. No other letters tampered with. 3-8. Murder by Numbers. 38. Again and again, we just saw the death of Franco Colombo 38 years after winning Mr. Olympia on August 30th. A day full of death headlines. Mary Tyler Moore, Franco Colombo. They brought up Tyler Skaggs' autopsy. They blamed it on a drug overdose. We still got to get to that. And there's even more I'm forgetting. Again, Odessa, Texas, with all the connections to shootings. 107, the 28th prime, the number that connects Seattle to shooting to Saturday. And 28 days apart, 107, the 28th prime. See how they do it? The two shootings, 28 days apart. All mathematics. The Masons, their symbol is what? Instruments of geometry, mathematics, Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, means geometry and language. They also referred to this as a West Texas shooting, which is another 107. You see? So... And something else that could be worth mentioning, August 31st, 31's the 11th prime number, 11's the master number. Notice both of these towns are on the 31st parallel too. Just a hair off the 32nd. Story first came through a guy named Devin Sanchez. He's who broke the news of the shooting. They said the shooting was on Highway 191. The active shooter was shooting from Highway 191, active shooter 191. 191's the 43rd prime. In France, you had the stabbing at 4:30. 4:30. Midland, Texas, 101, like Assassin. Casino 101, Mandalay Bay Casino 101. The Vegas shooting on October 1st, 10/1. At the Jason Aldean concert, J.A. Jason Aldean, J the 10th letter, A the first, 101. So. And again, this morning, what was in the news was a smaller shooting story in Mobile, Alabama, 33, between two schools, LaFleur and Williamson, both schools having shooting connections, and it was at Ladd-Peebles Stadium, 107, like shooting, like the number that tied the other two shootings together in Texas, August 3rd, and today, August 31st. Last year in August, there was also a school shooting, high school shooting reported. They said 4 shots in the fourth quarter at a Rains High School football game. So deja vu from last August. Then just to remind you about sports and news and the same numbers being coded on events, you get a mass shooting on the 78 date. And then you get a big trade in the world of sports, and they're sure to make sure you see that it's number 78. His birth name is Laramie Alexander Tunsil, 253 like the National Football League. If you add 1 through 22 together, it equals 253 like the 22 men on the field, like the Master Builder number. Master Builder number in numerology is 22. If you write out Master Builder, it's 147. Freemason, 147. There was also 57 as well, if you caught that. Master Builder, like Scottish Rite. Again, the Masons once upon a time were builders. So number 78, 78 date numerology. Scottish Rite and Jesuit, both 78 as we covered. And look at where he's getting traded to. He's getting traded from the Miami Dolphins, who are hosting the Super Bowl, to the Houston Texans on the day of the Texas mass shooting. You see that? Traded to the Houston Texans. And with regards to the whole Jesuit angle, again, he's number 78, Jesuit order. Or excuse me, it's just Jesuit. Jesuit is 78. The Jesuits operate in 112 countries. And even says right here, the society is engaged in evangelization and apostolic ministry in 112 nations. You want to see something about Society of Jesus? Society of Jesus 187. Also 191, like active shooter, like how your shooting was on Highway 191 today. Did you see the 187? Ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. What's etched on the House of the Temple in D.C. is 187. Remember, D.C. was once controlled by the Jesuits. Now it's got the Scottish Rite headquarters. Georgetown, the first Jesuit university in the nation's there. Look at Washington, D.C., 187. Look at George Washington, 187. Don't forget, Trump had his GOP convention July 18th, 18/7, a span of 187 days before Inauguration Day. Don't forget Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, the man who made it big. He died 187 days before the July 18th, 18/7 massacre at the McDonald's in San Ysidro outside San Diego, July 18th, once upon a time in history. This news, notice his birthday is August 2nd, kind of like 2/8, like 28. Talked about how that number is big today. But this news comes 29 days after his birthday, August 31st, 29 days after football's 29. So is Ohio in that cipher. Ohio is the birthplace of American football. Texans is 29, and so is his name Laramie. 29 days after his birthday, he goes to the Houston Texans. And Laramie and Laramie Tunsil are both 74 using our base ciphers. That number coded all over things that are Masonic. And again, American football credited to the Scottish Rite Freemason Walter Camp, who went to Yale. Camp's 33, like Masonry. And he went to Yale. Yale's 43, like Masonic, like football. Remember George W. Bush, he became the 43rd president in an election that came down to Florida 43, where his brother was the 43rd governor and his father was the 43rd vice president before becoming the 41st president. Skull and Bones 41. He died on November 30th this year, 11 plus 30, 41. George Herbert Walker Bush, November 30th, 2018. And the same day Paul Walker died, who once starred in The Skulls, about Skull and Bones. He died in a mysterious way. Also, Dorian, its path shifted. Again, if you missed the first video I put out on Dorian, August 27th, go back and watch that. Weather warfare is a real thing. It's disaster capitalism. You got to know who runs this world and how their Ponzi scheme works. They need constant death and destruction to keep their, house of cards afloat. Us believing in their, insane banking scheme. But Dorian, it carries that Gematria 38. like Carolinas and Florida, and they say that's where it's heading now, up the East Coast for the Carolinas, who often get battered with these storms, as does Florida. I always think, how do these people do it year after year? But somehow they do. And for some more divisive propaganda, some divisive rhetoric, straight pride parade in Boston. Let's not forget Massachusetts is one of 3 states with a 33 Gematria. One is Delaware, the first state. Delaware was also established on a date with 33 numerology. Notice Delaware is 147 and 48 like Freemason, nation founded by Masons. The other state is the 50th and final, Hawaii, another 33. Hawaii is 33 and 39 like Masonry. And Massachusetts, 33, home of the Kennedy family, right? So using this cipher, there's only 3 states that sum to 33. The only other state that has a 33 connection is New York, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology. But remember Sandy. Sandy hit New York on the day, leaving 39 days left in the year. And then you had the Sandy Hook school shooting 46 days later. Flooding's 46. Shootings 46. Connecticut's 46. Weather warfare. Living in a nation run for insane purposes. Military might. Police might out of control. It's where we live. It's where we live. And again, just to shed some light, I am helping build a website that is meant to network people who care about truth and changing this world. I'm excited to announce when that launches. It's being built right now. It's going to be like Facebook without the ads, without all the tracking, without the CIA behind it, and for people who care more about funny cat videos and whatever else is tabloid. It's going to be about networking for people who care about truth and want to change the world. You know, what I've been into for some time, pretty much ever since September 11th happened. What I've been doing nonstop for 6 years, literally. But this weather warfare is a real thing, and they name these stories accordingly for the areas they impact and the dates they do. As we know, 38 is not a very nice number, and they're saying this storm could be, one of the worst. But it's like the boy who cried wolf with a lot of these storms in recent years. Creates the mass panic, the mass fear. Next thing you know, all the big box stores are sold out. Walmart, Home Depot, Kroger, whatever. And by the way, the last shooting in Texas was Walmart, which carries the 47, also the 101 like assassin, 25 like death, 88 like program and poison. But the 47, and then today Home Depot was mentioned, and Home Depot is also 47 and 101, assassins 101, murders 34. Anyway, 47 degrees on the Masonic compass. By the way, these big box stores, a lot of them are paid for with your taxpayer dollars. Government's 47. Authority, when spelled correctly, is 47. White House is 47. President is 47. Republicans 47. Democrats 47. DC is 47. Trump's 47. Obama was 47 when he took the White House, plus a whole lot more to Obama's name. Don't even get me started. I've already gone on too many tangents. Trump in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel the night of the rigged election. On Inauguration Day, the cameras couldn't come off Ivanka Trump. 47. The Simpsons got a cartoon about her running for president in 2028, which is the year she turns 47. And D.C. was laid out by a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason from France, 47, where we started. Full circle. But, straight pride parade in Massachusetts, and Massachusetts is 33, so is gay, 33, so is sex, 33, homosexuals, 137, the 33rd prime. So this is a story that's meant to provoke gay people, right? Isn't that obvious? And it's also, just all this stuff is meant to provoke everybody. I've changed my opinion since I was in high school. When I was in high school, there was the Matthew Shepard story, which really got the issue of how gay people are treated on the radar for a lot of us. I hadn't even really thought about homosexuality at all, really, until the Matthew Shepard story. And then there was all these new legislative legislation to push forward rights for gay people, including gay marriage. And at first they were rejected, and there were fights in the courts. And consider I graduated from high school in 2001, so we're getting close to 20 years later. And back then, my thought was like, why do people care so much about people's sexuality? I just thought, just let people be people, and if people want to get married for tax purposes and be in a committed relationship, I mean, why is it such a big deal? I understand there's a religious function to marriage, but there is also a practical function. A lot of people do get married for practical reasons, and obviously, look, a lot of people don't live up to their vows. The state, from their angle, they want people to be married for stability. And, sometimes I also think they want them to get married so that they get divorced and end up with the lawyers and the taxes and the fees, which is all part of a system too. But I still feel that way. It's just now, 20 years later, I just see how it's like really crammed down people's throat. And, look at most of the movies that come out. There's a major homosexual angle. Almost every film is about like a strong female lead and a weak, stupid guy. And all of this stuff, you just realize it's part of it's a machine that's meant to change people, program them, feminize the male populace. And I don't know if the difference between now and then is because like homosexuality is so permitted that just all of a sudden way more people are out and are gay, or if it's actually influenced people to become gay. Because when I was in high school, for example, there were two guys who were out. And consider this is 99 through 2001 were the years I was in a high school building. I was in the junior high system, so 9th grade was still at the middle school. But 10th, 11th, 12th grade, there were three guys. They were in my class as well, and they were out all 3 years. One of them wore the same pants every day. He was this huge, tall kid. He was like 6'5", so nobody was really messing with him. But he wore these huge, sparkly silver pants like every day. Like only, Elton John would wear those. And it wasn't that big of a deal, right? Like, I don't think anybody was harassing these guys. I noticed at PE they were kind of stereotypical. They didn't participate in anything. They just kind of sat in the corner. But I remember the dude with the silver pants name was Jeff. I can't remember the other guy's name. I want to say it was Matt. But the silver pants guy I'll always remember. But anyway, it's just like, now you look at young people, I mean, it's just like, I live in this small town, right? And I've multiple times just going to the mall with my lady, I've seen guys walking together, even in this small town, holding hands, and they look like they're like high school kids, and I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just, I don't know. I'll cut it off there, but the point I'm trying to make is I don't really care what people's sexuality is. It's just, why is gay programming everywhere? Why is it seeming like so many of the young people are gay? It wasn't that way when I was a teenager, but just I hear so many young people, their voices just sound so like puny, and I don't know. I think I've seen more guy couple teenagers walking the mall holding hands than I've seen guys and girls that age. So that's the point I'm trying to make. And it's late, and I've been working all day, but notice today's date numerology is 51 and 39, and notice straight, just using your two base reduction ciphers, alphabetic order forwards and backwards is 39 and 51. And do you think that's a coincidence? I mean, have you ever seen a headline like this? Straight pride. Don't even get me started on the Boston Marathon bombing. It's that picture reminds me of. More crap. More obvious crap. I mean, that's what disappoints me about the United States of America. It's the information age. Everybody has the internet and cell phone. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, but a huge percentage of people in this country do. They have it right in their pocket. And, the videos were out there. It's all been censored. The internet's been wiped clean of a lot of the important information that was out there from even 3 years ago. But, I mean, who didn't see the video of the freaking guy in the cowboy hat kicking down the fence and helping set up the crisis scene under all that smoke that came in later. I mean, all of that stuff was captured. Everyone should know what's really been going down in this nation. And people just continue to go like, that's some conspiracy. It's like, it's not conspiracy crap. It's conspiracy fact. It's been proven a million times over. What was it? Patriots Day in Massachusetts. You get a bombing. It was all synced up with the Super Bowl. Oh my goodness. Synced up with even last year's World Series with Boston, as we talked about. Look at this, you guys. Date of Boston Marathon bombing. Go into so many things about this. April 15th, 2013. April 15th. Let's see about this day. It's the 105th day of the year. Masonry is 105, by the way. So is Zionism. It's the day leaving 260 days left in the year, okay? April 15th, the day of the Boston Marathon bombing. Remember, Boston, Massachusetts equals 260. You see that? It's also 253 like the National Football League, and now possibly the greatest QB, the greatest, team ever, the Patriots after the Patriot Act in 9/11. 253 like the National Football League. 253 is the 22nd triangular number. Notice Boston is 22. See how Boston's 85 and 22? They got the Celtics, like the greatest basketball franchise ever. Basketball 85 and 22. They have 17 championships, NBA 17. The Yankees got 27 pennants, MLB 27. 54-18 like baseball, 9 like innings in a game. 27 like outs per team. 27 like Tyler Skaggs when he died. Ritual 27. Ritual 45. Trump number 45 on the 27-year anniversary of the Berlin Wall. Oh, man. After doing the Serta commercial, 63. Serta 63. Talking to the sheep, 11 and 9. Announced as the 45th president-elect. 11-9, November 9th, the 27-year anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. 2016, the 63rd triangular number, the year he became president-elect. I mean, again, this knowledge goes distance. And hopefully I did it justice in this one. I know I went way overkill, but if you got here late, watch it from the beginning when I was less on tangents and more on what's going up with the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry and the Jesuits in this world and how much influence they have and what they have influence over. And why you have the Mariners in town for both Texas shootings, August 3rd and August 31st, and what Seattle shooting Saturday, and these shootings being 28 days apart have in common. So, I'll tell you what, it's almost 11 p.m., and I think I've been on here for a minute. If there's anybody out there who's watching that's just like thinking all this is a coincidence or just so stupid or, man, you just wish you could tell this guy what an idiot he is, it's your lucky day, because the number is 509-731 0567. 509-731 0567. If anybody else wants to call in about anything else, you can also do that. Hi, Cassandra. I see your nice good morning, good evening. It's evening time over here. Thanks, Gorilla93. I appreciate it. Maybe we don't have any critics out there that want to call. They always seem to be trolling, but then they don't call in. Thanks, Vanessa. Keys for Truth. I have to look into what you called me about. I have not done that yet. Here, let's just do it right now. Let's do it in real time. Keys for Truth. He's got a video that needs to be seen. He's only got 289 subscribers. He's trying to get the word out. So, he saw a local story in Mesa, Arizona, where they went in front of a house that had no bullet holes on it during the newscast to talk about a shooting, and he thought it was strange that there was no bullet holes in the building. So then he drove there himself to the location, and he found the building, and there were bullet holes in it. So he's trying to make sense of what might have happened there. How could there be a news story about a shooting at a building with no sign of a shooting, but then he went there himself, and then he did see the shooting? And I guess let's just watch it in real time. He called me up on the Gematria hotline, the same number I just put out, and he told me about this. Hopefully he doesn't give me a copyright strike for showing it, but here, let's just put it on and see what it's all about. So yeah, you can see it full of bullet holes. I've seen a house full of bullet holes one time in my own life. My sister's house used to live in northeast Portland, where a lot of gang activity was. She came home one day, there'd been a drive-by that was shooting at somebody who ran through her yard, so her house was all full of shot. And that is what it looks like. And you go inside and there's little casings everywhere. And your furniture's all messed up and glass is broken. Okay. All right, so he's got everything here, but check it out, Keys for Truth. He says in the news broadcast there's no sign of a shooting. So some detective work being done there, but he's got more questions. And honestly, when my website's built, I hope this is what happens. People start networking, working in communities, going out, uploading their own videos, their own content. Because all this time I've been saying we need a Gematria news network. Well, maybe the way to do it is just to put the power in the people's hands through a device, an online application that can connect people and help people share information and go out and do things together. Safety and strength in numbers. Okay. "12 News in what? In Mesa, Arizona?" All right, hold on. So the guy who made that video is saying watch the Mesa, Arizona 12 News. So this must be the one. I'm not sure which they post a lot of stuff. So I guess I can do it this way, shooting. Let's see. "5 months ago," so the recent one didn't pull up. Anyway, man, it's all good. I get the point about how just what the news reports doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. What are they doing? Okay. Ley lines are really interesting, but it's hard to get good information on ley lines. Okay, that's cool, Keys for Truth. I mean, I get it already, so I take your word for it. It's just, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm glad you're out there doing the work. That's what needs to be done, but I mean, it's just not that interesting because it's what they do every day. They just, they contrive and twist crap all day, every day. Caller?
Hey, Zach. This is, I called you a couple times on your other show. I'm not a troll or anything like that. I did a couple decodes for you, and you had just plugged that gentleman's channel. I just put up some new content on yesterday's incident in Texas. If you could, my blog is dreamingawake88.tumblr.com. There'll be a link to the video and everything on there. But I also had been trying to call in for the last couple of weeks. I did a decode on WWE wrestlers' names and 33. That's also a video that's on there. I kind of wanted you to check that out and get your feedback because I use a lot of different ciphers on there. But every single one of their names adds up to 33 in one cipher or another.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I got your site up on the screen. Game of numbers. Dreamingawake88.tumblr.com.
Yeah, and those, I mean, I've got a bunch of posts on there. There'll be links to the videos and everything like that. But it'd be cool if, I try to get the word out there. It'd be cool to get some more views. So.
Sure. Yeah. So here's another good one. Another Gematria blog. If you search Dreaming Awake 88, if you just do a search for that, scroll down. Looks like it's through Reddit. You can find it.
Yep. There's a Reddit. There's a Twitter, there's whatever social media you're comfortable with, it's all on there. So.
Okay, I see your Twitter as well. Yeah, nice. Very cool.
So that's about all I had. I just wanted to throw those at you, get the word out there, and that was it.
Nice, man. Are you going to use the website when it's built?
I planned on it, yeah. It'd be a cool way to network.
All right, very cool. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. All right, thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, this website better be a success because it's very expensive. So, anyway, the time is now to speak out and do something before, the censorship really goes full bore. So I want to make a comment about this Jeremiah Gabbard guy in the chat. So he did something that one of the trolls in my work recently did. He went out and paid for one of those reports that's like $15 online to get information about people. And what I've learned from seeing both of these guys, a troll made a video. I'm not even going to help you guys find it. But he researched all this information by paying some source to get like a file that involves like family members and employment history and arrest history. And he did one, and sort of this Jeremiah Gabbard. They both went out and paid for these background reports, and they both used two different sources, and they both had different information. Hold on, I'm getting a call, and I'm going to finish telling you about the point I want to make about this. Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
I actually never thought I'd ever talk to you, but it's nice to talk to you.
What's up, man?
Really, I was just calling because all this work is like really interesting, right? But I know you've also said about the whole organic side of it, and recently I've been doing a lot of work on like my personal gematria, and there seems to be a whole lot of 33 around it. It's just really interesting. Didn't you say something about Kundalini and like 33 spine, or 33?
Sure. It's a number that has everything to do with humanity. There's 33 vertebrae, or 33 bones in the human vertebrae, and that's where the significance of 33 comes from. And just using the most pure ciphers, both people and person sum to 33, and interestingly enough, so does Goyim. But,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
really, that's really crazy.
Kundalini's 58, like Freemasonry and secret society, too.
Wow. Yeah, I've actually like never seen that, although I have been reading your book recently, by the way, and I also actually sent it to my English professor because he seems like a pretty bright dude, and I thought I might as well share it because he's actually never heard about it before.
Yeah?
But, anyway, part of like my, I guess like numerology or whatever of my birth, my mom was 33 years and 33 days old when I was born. My middle name is 33. My nickname, Gabe, is 33. My dad's name, Michael, is 33. My full name is 330 in primes. And, trying to think of anything else. But anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. I just might as well call in.
It is interesting. I do appreciate you calling in and sharing that. The organic side of this is very interesting, and that's the best argument I get from people is like, well, if there's an organic side, how can you prove that all this is happening isn't organic? And to me, it's just like, look at it. The way professional sports are and the way these stories don't add up, it all looks very contrived. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. The news is very, very contrived, and I've been trying to wake up my friends to that. And I have this one friend in particular at work, whenever I bring up gematria, he always seems to say, well, I've been learning about how
people just like to see patterns in anything. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you really saying this is coincidence? And
that's
like,
the programming.
Yeah,
that's the programming. That's the programming, and almost everybody does that. And you realize that, like, even stuff's been put out in the mainstream to condition that thought. So.
Yeah. It's so crazy. I don't know how I can't see it. Like, I brought up the whole 77 and 9/11, and I guess it just didn't click with them. I'm like, really, like that, like the chances of all those numbers lining up, it's like little to none, unless like there's some sort of manipulation to it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, I'll let other people call in.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right, no problem. Yeah, bye.
Do you guys see what I'm doing here while he's doing his phone call? Do you see how number of a man is 66? That's biblical language from Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible. The number of the beast is the number of a man. 666, taught about in the number of the beast is 66. The King James Version, King James was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian who dropped dead at age 58. Freemason is 58, Rosicrucian's 58, Secret Society's 58, Biblical's 58, Tetragrammaton's 58. Anyway, that verse about number of the beast begins, here is wisdom. It's Revelation 13:18 in the King James Version if you want to look it up. Here is wisdom. And notice mankind is 66, and Goyim is 66, and it's Genesis 6:6. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. Genesis. I learned this when I first started. In the beginning is what Genesis means, which sums to 137 with the alphabetic order, 137 the 33rd prime, and Genesis with the alphabetic order and rules numerology is 33, 137 the 33rd prime. Genesis means beginning, like a seed, seed's 33. And again, Genesis 78 with the alphabetic order, 78. The 78th verse is Genesis 3:22, where that verse in the New International Version and the King James Version sums to 3:22, and it's a tribute to Kabbalah. Kabbalah, which is part of the ancient mystery religions. 3:22. And then the Abrahamic religions are based out of the Old Testament, where Genesis is from. Abrahamic religions. 3:22. You see, there's a reason they do all this. And part of the reason is, I think that they're right. Just using the alphabetic order, energy is 74, like Gematria is 74, like English is 74, like weapon is 74, like occult is 74, like Masonic 74, like Jewish is 74, like Lucifer is 74, like Jesus is 74. What? Did you know only the 33rd state sums to 74? Oregon 74? Why are Jesus, Lucifer, and Masonic all 74? The Masonic fingerprints are all over the Bible. In the Masonic version, the King James Version, the most Masonic version, we'll put it that way, that's the only place where the name Lucifer is used. Only in that version. Lucifer, you guys all know this name, but it only comes from one version of the Bible. King James Version. I always love how people are so passionate about the King James. That's the real one. The one that sounds like Shakespeare wrote it. Oh my God. Don't get me started. Did we cover 187 earlier? Because William Shakespeare is 187. Just like Abrahamic 187. But, I mean, seriously, the King James Version? I mean, a Masonic king is who has the most official Bible. You know, all of a sudden the people from Jesus' time have white dude names. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. And they speak like Shakespeare. I mean, come on. It's a bad look what goes on in the world today. You know, like just being completely oblivious to all that's obvious is rewarded. And if you point out any of the, very obvious things, you get labeled. Conspiracy theorist, weirdo. Why are you thinking about that? That's a coincidence. Oh my God. It's just, how's it even possible? For the record, the reason I'm not wearing my glasses tonight is because my lady, she says she needs a pair of glasses now. She's studying all the time, and her eyes are hurting this year, so she's wearing the glasses. So I have to order a new pair. She likes mine. She took them. So I am without glasses, but I'll get some more. So let's see. Yeah, I think we covered it all very thoroughly. Very, very thoroughly. Maybe too thoroughly. Maybe the video's so long no one will watch it. Not that anyone watches this channel anymore. The new YouTube algorithms, they have it all ruined. They have it all ruined. You cannot get any views. You know. Look at what happens when, let's just see. Texas mass shooting. Let's do a search. Texas mass shooting. Let's see what comes up. VOA News, CBS News, CBS Evening News, ABC News, VOA News, CNN, Los Angeles Times, Fox News, CBC News. Does this seem like YouTube anymore? YouTube. Remember when you used to see videos from just independent creators like myself? What happened if you searched for a mass shooting 3 years ago? You would have seen my video at the top. You would have seen a whole bunch of, you know, other, some of them were true channels, some of them weren't. But you would have seen videos from independent creators. That's what you would have seen. And remember, it was the Wall Street Journal that led this charge. At least they were the first ones to publish about it. They were saying the solution to the conspiracy theorists on YouTube is to flush them out and in their place just report news from mainstream sources. And remember, I made a video about that, and then the FBI came to my house. CBC News, Global News, Hindustan Times. Is that like Hindu? Hindu? Pix 11 News, MSNBC, Sky News Australia, CBS Los Angeles. Notice how most of these videos don't even have any views. Nobody wants to watch this shit. My video that's being censored has more views. You know? City News Toronto, CBS New York, WJHL. How long? AZ Family Powered by 3. It almost seemed like a, nope, it's a news station. We all really do need to get off of YouTube. We all need to get our own platforms, and we need to just say F you to this company. This company makes a lot of money off of our views from advertising. It's like, they let my channel stay up because I finally put ads on it, but I don't get paid for the ads. They just demonetize, and then they put ads on some of the videos anyway. It's like, you sent me a letter and gave me a notification about how my video is not fit for advertising, but you're still putting ads on it and not giving me anything for it? I mean, that's BS. But it lets the channel stay up. That's why I'm putting up with it. I'd rather my content be out there and not deleted. So that's the compromise. Not that I want to be compromised. But then you also just look at the stuff that they do allow advertising on. How about most of this like new music that is just absolute shit with like horrible message and values and lyrics? Everybody's advertising on that. Video's got 20 million views, which means, if you guys don't know, for every million views you get paid $5,000. Unless you're my channel where every video is demonetized, then you get 0 pennies. But if you see channels that are getting like look at Joe Rogan. You wonder why Joe Rogan's a sellout. How much money is he making on every video? I mean, all of his videos get at least 1 million views. I think several of them get several million views. You know, if you got 3 million views on a video, you made $15,000. Not bad. And I think that's what Joe Rogan gets for typical traffic. He might even get better than that. So you wonder why he's a sellout. Well, if he's not getting $15,000 on his video. He's getting $0 like me, you know. And I'm not here for money. I've never been here for money. Understand that. I did this for 5 years for free, paying out of my own pocket, using my own savings to pump out the truth 24/7, 365. And never got enough appreciation or respect in the time I did that. You know, still got the same shills who bought their subs, who don't really have a following. Still making videos slandering me. But look at it. We can't find a single video from an independent creator. Color?
What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Just a quick note. Geneva Bible. Lucifer is in that Bible as well. Preceded the King James Version.
Geneva?
Yes, Geneva translation.
I'm going to have to look that up. I always thought that Lucifer was first in the King James Version.
No, it's in the Geneva Bible.
Okay, I'm going to look that up.
The Geneva Bible was one of the first Reformation Bibles. So,
Huh.
I don't want to hold you. You're doing good, but I just wanted to let you know that, okay?
I'm going to have to look that up. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it.
I have the YouVersion Bible app. You get
Look
all
at
the verses
Geneva.
on the Bible.
Look at Geneva, though.
Yeah.
It's 54 like Jesuit order. It's 27 like Matthew. There's 27 books in the New Testament. And then it's 108 like Gematria. So, and I just think about Geneva today. So, it's still all masonry at the end of the day. But I'm going to have to look that up for confirmation. I do appreciate you tipping me off to that because I'd always heard that it was the King James Version.
Yeah, the reference text for that is the same with the King James. It's Isaiah 14:12.
Okay. All right, good to know. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, man.
All right. Regardless, then it's used in the Geneva and the King James Version. Still going to have to verify it myself. But no doubt it's Masonry. And with regards to Masonry, don't forget New Testament's 42. It begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. New Testament 66. It ends with the 66th book of the Bible. We just talked about 66 in the Bible and mankind. But look at the 159 and 165. Scottish Rite. 159 and 165. And again, most of these numbers take their origins from the Bible, but it's not hard to see who's altered the English versions and who's taken out things and removed things and reworded verses and, mistranslated things, encoded it all perfectly. The Bible's used like a playbook by these people. Bible's 105, Masonry's 105, Zionism is 105. It's 42 as well. Zionism, the other big piece of this. Channels like No Less News make it seem like it's all that, but they are a big piece of it. But they're a piece. There's other parts. And a big part of the thing that, like No Less News, what he tries to expose every day, he doesn't realize that he's a part of it. Like No Less News will never do anything for the world other than mislead people and, No Less News deleted my interview with him and said that this research that I'm showing in this presentation is kooky and meaningless. You think he's really trying to expose anything? Guy that gets through to Alex Jones and InfoWars all the time. And somebody did pass along the interview, the thing with him and Alex Jones, an InfoWars guy, Shaggy. No Less. I noticed Alex Jones called him a chosen one several times, and that was not an accident. Pretty sure that, when InfoWars got censored is when his channel blew up because he began attacking it all the time. He's almost like the presence for InfoWars here, even though he pretends to be against it, but at the same time is always going on there for interviews and whatnot. But Alex Jones referred to him as a chosen one multiple times, and his name's Green, and he couldn't look any more like a member of the tribe. So if you haven't seen that little interaction, I don't want to really promote his channel, but watch how Alex Jones calls him a chosen one multiple times. It's not an accident. Battle of the morons, those two. And if you do watch that interview, watch how much Adam Green sucks. Some of you guys are impressed with that. He sucks, man. He didn't bring up the dancing Israelis. I mean, he didn't do anything that guy can do is read off a script. He doesn't have anything. He has no wit. He has no intelligence. Part of the reason he deleted the interview I did with him is because he looks so dumb. Guy's dumber than a box of rocks. That's why when he calls into Alex Jones, he's just reading off a script. He's not even responding. There's nothing there, man. There's no brains behind that guy. So when Alex Jones started to say the things he said, he should have brought up the dancing Israelis. Brought it back to 9/11, So there's no getting away from that one. There's no getting away from the dancing Israelis who spent 71 days in jail. Mossad 71. Don't even get me started on September 11th. Let's just do it. Why not? We've talked about everything else. In our most pure cipher, September 11th, 77. World Trade Center 77. Don't ever forget Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon on the 77th meridian 77 minutes after taking off according to the 9/11 Commission report. Took off at 8:20, crashed at 9:37, and lo and behold, in Gematria 77 connects to September 11th and World Trade Center. The Pentagon construction began on that building September 11th, 1941. All right. Let's see. Yeah, he is. Oh, yeah, so I was going to make the point about Jeremiah Gabbard and paying for these $15 reports to investigate people you don't know online. For me, it's funny watching. I got to see Jeremiah Gabbard got like a 100-page report, and out of the 100 pages of information, there were like 10 things on there that were correct, and about 1,000 plus that were wrong. And same for the guy who made a video supposedly exposing me as military intelligence. Both reports have the same thing. There's somebody in the world named Zachary Hubbard who lives in Illinois who has military connections. And for whatever reason, his information is combined with my information in these reports that you can pay $15 for. I've never lived in Illinois in my life. I visited Chicago with my ex-girlfriend for a weekend. I've been in Illinois for all of 48 hours of my life. I didn't have a life there and several jobs there and internships there. And also in the Jeremiah Gabbard report, there's a picture of the Zachary Hubbard from Illinois, and I'm thinking like, dude, you follow me, but you think that's me? The guy doesn't even look like me. So anyway, if you're paying for these $15 online reports to get information about people, that information might not be correct. And the other thing I noticed about those reports is they didn't even seem to have any of the jobs I ever had, so they're getting like the jobs of all sorts of Zachary Hubbards. Look how many Zachary Hubbards live in the United States of America, and then think about how easily these sites that pull all this data from the internet could be getting information for the wrong person. Now, that said, both the reports did have my arrest on there, which was true. I was arrested in my front yard. They have the location and correct date. So that's the guy who made the video. See, he's putting that information out there because I have talked about that so people can verify that that's true. But then everything else in the report is incorrect. I've never been in the military ever. So... And this Jeremiah Gabbard, he's telling me he's a big follower of mine, but he's going to make a video too and expose me as military intelligence. I said, well, you don't sound like a supporter of mine, and go right ahead. Your report's all bullshit and wrong anyway. And be sure to show people the picture of that guy who's in the military and then see if that looks like me. Most people whose eyes work realize that, oh, that's not even the same person. Most people have a brain and go, oh, yeah, there's probably more than one Zachary Hubbard in the world. When I was at Arizona State University, there were two of us. There was 50,000 people at that school at the time. So out of 50,000 people, there was somebody else in that group that had the same first and last name as me. I still haven't watched the film Under the Silver Lake. There's a Formula 2 death today. Let's see. Formula 2. I've heard of Formula 1. How do you say that? Antoine Hubert has died after a crash at the Belgian Grand Prix. Where did Formula 2 come from? I swear to God, I've never heard of this. I'm not a big race car guy. I know about Formula 1. I see he drove a pink car. Interesting. It's like some more of that feminized male programming. Let's see. Let's just see. I don't know anything about this guy. Well, what do you know? 74. Why is that number just everywhere all the time? 218 like death, right? Death's 218. Yesterday, Mary Tyler Moore's co-star died 218 days from the anniversary of Mary Tyler Moore's death. Chigozie Truth did a video showing how the news even had a clip that was 2 minutes and 18 seconds long about her death. So... First of all, this guy has a name connecting to death. You have to break out the English extended cipher, which is a tribute to Hebrew, Gematria, and Greek isopsephy. But this death in 218 thing's a familiar pattern. All right, so first of all, he's got the 74, Masonic, occult, killing. They're all 74, number that shows up around death all the time. Then you got this 218. There might be something to 160 and 70. I don't know off the top. His last name's also 74. Nice. His name's also 34, like murder. Okay. 86, like blood sacrifice. Okay. So his name's got some interesting numbers. And his birthday's September 22nd. Let me see here. So that means he died 22 days before his birthday, huh? Formula 2, 22 days before the birthday. And what did he die at? It was the Belgian Grand Prix. I'm sure there's something to the event number. 271's the 58th prime, like Freemasonry, like Secret Society, like Rosicrucian. Again, 74's coated all over him, like Masonic. 89, the 24th prime. You know, today's the last day of August. I wonder if it's always in August. August is 89. 89 is the 24th prime. Today has 24-day numerology. So, when I make a post, I just like look at information and I scan through things. I'm like, okay, I see the gist of what they're doing. But normally when I'm decoding things, I'm decoding things where I know a little bit about them, which is not true for me when it comes to Formula 2. Oh, he was French. Okay. He died at age 22, 22 days before his birthday, with the Formula 2. He died at age 22 following an accident in the feature race at Spa-Francorchamps. Let's just see. I don't know what that is. 171, 18th triangular, 72 Jesuits. Oh, he was car number... See how he was car number 18? See how it says that about him? He drove car number 18. He died at this thing right here, which is 171, the 18th triangular number. See? Just using the alphabetic order, it has... This location has the connection to 18. 18 in Jewish numerology is like the meaning of life. Chi. I think it's part of the reason they say we're adults. He was born in Lyon, France, where the stabbing happened today, too. So, I bet there's even more to it. What's it? Belgian Grand Prix. Let me see, like, what edition of the Belgian Grand Prix this was. Let's see. First one was held in 1925. It's 44 laps long. Oh my God. Number of times held, 74. So, 74th event, and who just died? See, this is what I mean. For all the people who, I just hate my critics, man. They're so dumb. You probably just sit there just trying to put numbers together. No. It's just the same shit every day, man. The dude's name is 74. His last name with the alphabetic order is 74. And again, it's not like every word's 74. Out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74. Oregon, the 33rd state. And then he dies at the 74th event. There's a guy who, he keeps calling and he keeps telling me I need to make videos on all the news stories people ask me to decode that I can't find any patterns with. And the reality is, I mean, all these news stories are this way. Just every day. It's like every one I look at, it's just every request I take, and it takes, like, how long was I looking into that for? Was I looking into that for 3 minutes? Was it even 3 minutes? Did I convince you? 44 laps! These people are the worst. Kill 44. These people are the worst. There's probably something with the guy who won it today. There's probably a million more things in this ritual that I just don't know about. These things are usually deep. But now I already see why. At number 74, it's this guy. Okay. Robert has the right attitude. He says it can't be any more damn clear, and I assume he's speaking about what I'm saying right now. Do I need to remind people that there's a song called Gematria, the killing name? Gematria, 74. Killing, 74. English, 74. We have a calendar that recognizes the killing of Caesar on March 15th, the 74th day of the year. Just think about that. This year it was the mosque shooting in Christchurch. In Christchurch, Jesus, 74. Cross, 74. Messiah, 74. Gospel, 74. Parable, 74. Jesus Christ is 74. You know, Jesus Christ, 43 in the most pure cipher, the 14th prime, the 42 generations to Jesus, divided into sets of 14, 3 sets of 14, 43 the 14th prime number. And modern science says they traced the crucifixion of Jesus to April 3rd, 33 AD. Look that up. I guarantee you'll find plenty of sources that reported that. 4-3, April 3rd. That's the 93rd day of the year. Crucifix is 93. Nazareth's when spelled correctly, Nazareth's 93. God's Son's 93. How far do they say the sun is from Earth? Do they say it's 93 million miles? We covered that already, didn't we? Did you know Kanye West is putting out a gospel album this year on September 29th, the day leaving 93 days left in the year? He was supposed to put it out a year ago. And I did a big presentation on Kanye West and the statues over the year of him on the crucifix and why they do it with him. Kanye West is 33, like Jesus on the cross at 63. And there was that statue in Hollywood of him on the cross. Anyway, he's the guy who came out, one of his first hit songs was Jesus Walks. Yep, murder by numbers in the year 83. And I want to make another point right now. I'm about to make my fingers look like the 666 thing, not because I'm signaling, but I just want to make a point, okay? Because I see Dr. Savage84 is here, who I think, for a minute he was making videos saying I was a shill, but he did take him down, so I must have been persuasive to him. Dr. Savage84 thought I was a shill because I was in the middle of an interview, and sometimes when I start talking, when I'm making a point, I will touch these fingers, right? I'll touch these fingers just while I'm talking, just like it just happens. And you know what? It's not just me that does that. There's a lot of people who, when they're speaking in the world, if they're talking and, you know, they're not, it's like the hands just somehow become part of the motion of the speech or whatever. They'll touch their thumb and their finger. And this doesn't mean you're in the Illuminati, and this doesn't mean you're signaling 666. It's different when Trump does it and he keeps, you know, up here, up here. Sometimes he gets them both up here. Super. It's going to be great. Excellent, you know, that's different. You know, both of them up here. I mean, if somebody's talking for a long time and during that hour discussion, 2 different points in the video when they're making a point, their fingers touch like this, and then you make a video saying, ooh, maybe they're in the, I mean, just no. Go out and watch people speak. Plenty of people do that in the world. So you have to recognize the difference between the celebrities like posing like this, you know, celebrities doing this. Way different than talking for an hour and at one point in your hour-long discussion, your pointer finger and your thumb come together, you know? So I want to make that point too. Because a lot of that stuff is in this community. It's like there's a level of being paranoid that's right because there's reason to be paranoid about what's going on, but then it's just like every little thing turning mountains or molehills into mountains. It's just, you know. I got a Raiders fan asking me what I believe in. Should we talk about the Raider who was just killed 38 days before the Colorado Broncos game? Colorado equals 38, 38 state. He played college ball at Colorado. I don't believe in anything. I think, and I figure out information to see what I understand what I see is going on in the world. I don't believe. I'm not a believer. I wouldn't even say I believe in God. I think God exists because of the evidence I've seen in the world, you know. I really want to just get rid of the word believe, the word with lie in the middle. I don't believe anything. The things that I say and I stand for, it's because I've thought about it. So, in my book, I talk about why there's 26 letters in the English alphabet, and the most pure cipher letter is 26. God in Hebrew and English is 26. And there's a lot of things that are 26. So, read my chapter about 26 letters in the English alphabet. But an important 26 word to me in the most pure cipher is think. And I think that's what God gave us the ability to do. Think. And what man wants us to do is believe. Did you know believe's one of the 33 words too? Believe's 33. Good books 33. Bible's 33. Believe. And you know what's weird about that lie word in the middle? Lie is 26 too. And do you notice how the masses play God over us by lying every single day? There's an idiot who once made a video saying that I said God was a lie. He took a frozen shot of me on a whiteboard with the word God equaling 26 and the word lie equaling 26, and my whole discussion had nothing to do with God being a lie. It had to do with people playing God by lying to the masses. This is back when I did on the whiteboard. Guy does a frozen frame and says, see, he's saying God is a lie. And I'm just like, either this guy is completely brain dead or he's straight up shilling. And then he's one of the same people who made 10 videos after a car crashed through my house on Christmas Eve, saying it was a hoax. You know, he's one of these people that some of you like who you don't know his real name or his face. At least no less news, we know his face. I'm not convinced Adam Green's his real name. I think it's more like Sheckelstein. But, yeah, 206 bones in the human body. The body's the temple. And what does Masonic temple equal? Again, it can be no doubt who coded out our language. Masonic temple, 206. 206 bones in the body. The body's the temple. Masonic temple, 71. Temple, 71. Notice bones, 55. 26, not far off from 206. Notice Masonic temple again, 55. Catholics also 145, which just makes me wonder. Again, I think there's this false illusion of division between the Catholics and the Masons up at the tippy top. Don't forget when Jake Butt became the 145th pick by the Denver Broncos 71 after his coach at Michigan met Pope Francis at the Vatican, and Jake Butt went from a first-round pick falling to 145. Last year his season ended on the Jesuit order's birthday. So, anyway. Look at a comment like Kathy Rennick. Kathy writes, Zach could be a great asset, yet he does not understand a lot. You know what? There's a whole lot more I could understand in this world, but I don't know who you're talking about. An asset to who? And show me anybody in this truth community, anyone on this whole fucking internet who's put out more truth and connected more dots and shown people a real skill and taught them a real skill that they can use every single day to see through the bullshit and also win money at the rigged sports games. You know? I don't know who you're talking to, Kathy. The way I look at the truth community is they could be real assets to the dude who's actually doing something. You know, this whole truth community isn't jack shit, you know. I didn't see Jake Butt's interview. And just think about that sick joke. Jake Butt, he plays the position tight end. Football players wear spandex. And he fell to the 145th pick, Catholic 145, Catholic 71 to the Denver Broncos 71, after his coach at Michigan met with Pope Francis, you know, the day before. By the way, Michigan's 46. What do you know about the Catholic Bible in 46? Catholic. Old Testament is 46 books instead of 39. JFK was 46 when he died. He was the 35th president. You see that? JFK, the 35th president, dead at age 46. Sacrifice 46. JFK's 54 like Dealey Plaza, like Jesuit Order. His brother RFK, 3546 like Catholic, put out by the Code 2. See my video from around the anniversary of the RFK shooting earlier this summer, 2019. In Dallas, a building, oh God, what's the name of the building that RFK was assassinated in? There's a building with that same name in Dallas, and it burned right around the anniversary of his assassination in the same city where his brother was shot. I cannot think what it's called right now, the building he was shot in. Hold on. Where was RFK assassinated? Oh, come on. Not the hospital he died at. The building, the Ambassador Hotel. Is that what it was? Was it the Ambassador? Am I making things up? It was the Ambassador Hotel. Look at this. I bet hardly anyone saw this. Ambassador Hotel fire, Dallas, Texas. Crews demolish. Okay. Okay. You see this? Massive fire guts Dallas landmark Ambassador Hotel. This news was going May 29th. And again, JFK killed in Dallas. RFK killed in the Ambassador Hotel. May 29th, this was in the news. And look at this. JFK birthday. May 29th. May 29th. You don't think these people who rule over us know that we are not paying attention? That's what they prove every day. That they know nobody's paying attention. They know they can report the same fucking numbers in every fucking story because they know nobody's paying attention. And the people who are, you know, I don't know. Most of them can't see the obvious. You see what a mockery that is? And that was just a week before the anniversary of the RFK assassination. Again, Robert Kennedy equals 156. He was shot June 5th, the 156th day of the year, and then he died early June 6th, I believe reportedly at 1:44 in the morning. Jesuit order is 1:44. But dead on 6/6. And realize, like, these ciphers over here, I didn't even know them when I first started this research. I just knew the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. It's one of the first things I discovered when I just started putting pen to paper. I said, wow, 156th day of the year on 6/6, huh? And his assassin was Sirhan Sirhan. Sirhan alone's 33. Sirhan 66. He's in the news today for being stabbed in prison. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. No one pays attention. And, you know, I mean, the thing is, I've been putting out this content. I've made over 5,000 videos in the time I've been doing this. That's a lot of videos, 5,000 videos. Imagine the time to record videos, you know, do all the stuff you have to do to them, upload them. It's a lot of stuff. And how many people have they reached in this nation? Almost no one, because to find this information, you have to go out and investigate. No one's paying attention in the first place, and even less people are investigating. So that's why the small group of, don't let that get you down, because the group of people who are doing it are big enough to make a difference. And that's why, you know, they said that the shooter was killed at the Synergy Theater. We need to create real synergy in the truth community. And that's going to happen by organizing and getting creative and getting the word out. So, what's up, Darrell? You should be in bed. Darrell, he could tell you some stories, man. Darrell. He's the world's #1 Raiders fan. Hey, Darrell, who's the Raider who just died 38 days before the Broncos game? Darrell, get off Facebook and join the website I'm having built. It's the Facebook for Truth-Seeking Community. We had a Raiders fan in here, Darrell, and he asked me a question. I wanted to show him the death of that Raider, but I couldn't think of the name. The Raider who just died. Former Raider. Wide receiver. Yeah, Gorilla93 says he's always trying to get people to watch and they just won't. It's just like in the film They Live. Remember in They Live, don't ever forget who they is. They 58, like Rosicrucian, like Secret Society. It's a big number at the Vatican too. Pope Francis has that 58 on him right now. Look up the picture of Pope Francis doing the hidden hand pose. That's a Masonic pose. I'm telling you. The Masons, the Jesuits, the Catholics. There's a connection. Austin, I bet you could look into those and figure it out, man. Use the knowledge. Yeah, hey, yeah, Kathy, why don't you call the number 509-731-0567. Thanks, Darrell. Cliff Branch, that's who it was, Cliff Branch. We're just talking about everything tonight. Darrell stayed up past 9 p.m. Houston time. So we got to talk about the Raiders. Cliff Branch, former Raider, found dead in hotel room August 3rd. The day of the last mass shooting. 8-3. 8-3, right? Murder, 83. The song Murder by Numbers came out in 83. Football's 83. The date can also be written 3/8. Murder, Raiders, death, killing. It's all 38. So is R.I.P. Look how killing and Raiders overlap. 74, 38, 115. 115, the number that connects the Scottish Rite and the Jesuits. The Scottish Rite and the Jesuits have all sorts of influence over the world of rig sports. Hey, let's go back to last year. Let's go back to this box score. December 17th, 2018, Saints box score. This is one of my favorite examples from last year. You see how the Saints became 12-2 on this day? 12-2, right? On December 17th, 2018. Look at this. Pope Francis' birthday. Pope Francis' birthday is December 17th. He turned 82 years old that day, right? Pope Francis turned 82 December 17th, and the Saints became 12-2, right? So notice Saints equals 82. Right? And saints is something, sainthood is what's given to somebody after they die if they're important in the Catholic Church history. So the Saints on Pope Francis' 82nd birthday become 12-2. Pope Francis 122, just using the alphabetic order. See that? And Pope Francis is named after the Pope who came many years before him, who San Francisco's named after. San Francisco's St. Francis of Assisi. San Francisco's 122, it's on the 122nd meridian. These numbers, they get used a lot. We talked about it with the Mariners today, who are also on the 122nd meridian, and how they lost 12-2 in combined scores from the 2 games in Texas the day of the Texas shootings. Seattle 107, shooting 107, Saturday 107. Seattle playing in Texas, August 3rd, August 31st, the day of the 2 mass shootings, where we started, before we spiraled out into a million different things. Kathy's not going to call because Kathy's lying. Kathy has not called. Kathy, you are a liar. She wrote, I've called, phone just rings. Bullshit. Here, anybody call the phone right now to prove that it works. 509-731-0567. Somebody just call so I can just prove that nobody's calling in. 509-731-0567. Well, maybe nobody wants to call in, but Kathy certainly hasn't. Kathy asks, what is any good news? Have you been here? Here's somebody from Houston. I told you the good news. I'm building a website to get us all organized. Caller?
Kathy certainly has it.
Caller. Is this Kathy?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, I know it works.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
What is any good news?
All right, here's Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, what's up?
What's up? This is Keys for Truth.
What's up, man? We got a caller from New York.
What's going on, buddy?
All sorts of people are calling in right now.
I know your phone. I know you answer your phone.
Yeah, so I just hate these liars in the chat. People who just talk shit and just lie out of their ass, like Kathy. Kathy's probably a dude anyway.
I do know that she is on your live feed all the time, and she is trolling.
Yeah, she's probably one of the paid-for trolls. I have all sorts of paid-for trolls that just hang around me all the time. Lies.
Exactly. Hey, brother, when you get time, type the title of my video into Google search, and you will find that 12 News video.
I will do that. Appreciate it, man.
All right, cool, brother.
Right.
I don't want to take up time.
Keep up the good work. Have a good night.
Thanks.
That's Keys for Truth. Check out his channel. Caller.
Hey, Zach.
Hey. Thanks for calling.
This is no problem. It was ringing, then you answered.
Right. I can only answer the phone if I'm not on. Some people I don't pick up for because it's a phone, so I can only answer one call at a time. I have to hang up on you to answer the next call. But
right on.
Yeah, I just wanted to prove that.
About something that I don't get a chance to catch you all the time, but I understand you've done something on Serial Brain or.
I don't care about anything Q related. I don't care about anything Q. It's a total psyop. QAnon 74, just like Masonic. They're telling people to believe in Trump. They're telling people to wait, trust the plan. I mean, this is exactly what the controllers want. To stay invested in the matrix, stay invested in politics, believe in the system, sit and wait, pray, hope, just anything but actually do something, you know?
Right.
So I don't talk about Q or any of this crap.
I've been watching you before, you know, that Sarah Brent started using Gematria, and it just seemed a little wacky. He's all over the board, but I hadn't seen any videos that I could identify that you'd addressed that. How about Bitcoiner Satoshi Nakamoto?
Say that again?
Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin. And you want me to look up something about Bitcoin?
Yeah, I didn't know if you'd done anything on that or.
Say the name again. Yeah. That name's not one I'm used to hearing every day.
Which one? Satoshi Nakamoto. It's not a real name. Satoshi.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. Okay, what do you want me to look into about this?
Just see I mean, nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. First of all. Some people think it's Alan Greenspan.
Okay, it's the supposed person behind Bitcoin. So with the alphabetic order, 181 like 42. 181 is the 42nd prime, connecting to 42. Like Freemason, that stands out right away. 55 is a special number. Numerology is 55. God is 55. So is Satan. So the name's got some powerful numbers here. 224, a number related to 84. The divisors of 84 sum to 224. Masonry, Jesuit, Zionist, they're all 84. United States of America is 84. Special number to that gang. Fabian Society established 1884. And then 89, which is the 11th Fibonacci number, the numbers of God. 11, the master number. So yeah, I see things in this name for sure. The last name Nakamoto is 27.
Some people have attributed to the FBI have developed it. Bitcoin.
Yeah, there's all sorts of interesting things here. So.
Okay, well, I just wanted to give you a call and let you know your phone's working.
All right, appreciate it, man.
No problem, thanks.
All right, take care. Nakamoto's 45 like Bitcoin. And So yeah, I'll have to think more about that one, but I see some things in it. Do I think there will be a new currency? Yeah, and I think it will be electronic. They want everything under surveillance. If everybody's currency is electronic, it's super easy to keep tabs. I mean, just imagine it. It's like, just imagine it. Surveillance, electronic currency, it couldn't get any easier. No more hiding a mattress in the pillow. Burying it in the dirt. You know? How do you rob digital currency? How do you rob a bank anymore? You know? I was talking about the death of this Raiders player on August 3rd at age 71. Big Catholic member. Have I been talking about the Catholics and the Jesuits and the Scottish Rite and sports? I have the whole time in case you just got here. But 71 is also the 20th prime. Death is 20. But he died 38 days before the Raiders opener. Colorado's the 38th state in order of statehood. If you want to win your gambling bets for the rest of your life, just wait till Colorado sports games roll around and you see a 38 on the board. Going for a 38th win, a 38th loss, you know, a pitcher getting his 38th all-time win, a goalie getting his 38th all-time win. Just pay attention to how often Colorado and 38 works out in the scheduling. It'll blow your mind. It will blow your mind how often 38 comes up with Colorado sports. You know? I always hate when idiots say, why don't you just gamble then yourself? Well, why don't I? Why don't I just say, fuck the world, you know, just leave my girl who I've been supporting as she gets through school. I live in Washington State where gambling is just super illegal. Can't even do online. Plus I have the feds coming to my door, auditors coming to my door. People ask, why don't I gamble? Yeah, why don't I do a few more illegal things while I'm at it, while I'm already under the watchful eye? Instead, I'm a generous person. I teach people how to gamble, and that's why I've helped so many people win so much money. But anyway, I could just leave and just say fuck the world and move to Vegas and just gamble, and I would do just fucking great. Trust me. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach? This is Martin Brown. There's a story that this guy named, your chat name, give me 1 second. Dr. Savage 84, he's talking about this ex-NFL running back, Larry Johnson. You should try type it Larry Johnson into Google and then Larry Johnson Twitter.
Yeah, he played for the Chiefs, Larry Johnson.
Say that again?
He played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, he's talking about there's an agenda to indoctrinate the
I got it.
heterosexual
I
sports
see
world.
it.
Did you read that?
I didn't know about it, but now I see it right here. Let me read about it. All right. We're just going everywhere with this live stream. We're talking about how the whole show's scripted together, right? Ex-NFL star Larry Johnson. You know, I really got to think about that. I'm going to show you guys something that you can investigate that's 100% true. This is going to be the 100th NFL season, and it's going to end with Super Bowl 54. If you write out 100, it equals 54 in the most pure cipher. If you go and investigate, you'll find that on the 100th day of the year, and on May 4th, 5/4, 2 former Chiefs died this year. There's been a lot of suspicious football-related deaths. But 154 connect to this NFL season. And the Chiefs, you know, who are one of the Super Bowl favorites, they've had some really interesting deaths. There's been a lot of 54-related deaths in football this offseason. But here we are talking about a Kansas City Chief who's in the headlines now. I didn't even know about this. I got to see if what are they? I don't even know this word. Before I even do the Gematria, let me do the honest thing of looking up what the word means. For being a school teacher, I got to admit my vocabulary is pretty small. I didn't grow up around educated people, and anybody can become a teacher. Trust me. But some of us are a lot better than others. Anyway, my vocabulary should be better than what it is. Let's see. Having or showing characteristics regarded as typical of a woman. Unmanly. Okay. So an agenda to feminize. Well, I do see this going on. I mean, you can't even tackle people in the NFL anymore. And it goes along with everything else. The gay programming, you know, the transgender programming, you know. Game of Thrones. Everybody just loved Game of Thrones. I was like, is everybody gay? Because all I see in this show is a lot of fancy costumes, a midget who's pretty funny, and, you know, cocks everywhere and gay sex scenes. Like, a guy having sex with his sister on the deathbed of their son. I mean, just a gross show, really.
Hey.
Caller?
Hey, Seth. Yeah, I was wondering if there might be a connection. The 100 season of football, NFL, and then there's the 150 season of the college football. So maybe
Illuminati.
the winners.
Illuminati's 150. Woo.
All right, that's it.
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right.
Caller?
Yeah. I just wanted to point out, I know you were talking about the Chiefs. Lamar Hunt equals 54 too.
Oh, man, the man who made the Chiefs.
Right, that's what I was thinking too.
Very interesting. Very interesting. All right,
I just wanted to point that out.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, thanks, man. Okay. Sometimes they drop clues. Did I just tell you something about 82 and the Saints and Catholic and 71? By the way, look at the word genocide. You see how it's 62 with the alphabetic order? On Christopher Columbus Day, a span of 71 days, Catholic 71 from Pope Francis's birthday last year. Supposedly, Christopher Columbus was paid for by the Catholic Church, his voyage. But on Christopher Columbus Day last year, you had the Saints win 43-19 over the Redskins, 62 points, genocide 62. You had the Braves get eliminated from the playoffs in the National League on that day, 6-2. And then you had the Astros beat the Indians and eliminate them from the playoffs. I think the score was 11-3, like how the Astros were in the 113th World Series. But 82-71. Caller?
Yeah, how you doing, Zach?
What's up?
Hey, I know you usually say you don't like talking about sports stuff. You ready to get off the sports stuff for a second?
I usually say what?
You don't like focusing on sports.
You better just get off the phone and rewind to the beginning of this video and start watching from there, because I know you haven't been here from the beginning.
No, I haven't. I'm coming in late.
I absolutely know you haven't, because what I talked about is the people who complain about me doing work on sports, and I showed how if you don't follow the sports, you can't see how all the news and sports are integrated. The beginning of this video is about how the Mariners being in Texas for both shootings on August 3rd and August 31st is no coincidence.
Right, I just mean like, yeah, I've heard a lot of videos where you say you don't like the gambling aspect of it, but or people wanting the knowledge for gambling, but I'm way off that. So if you're not taking calls way off that, then I'll just hang up. It's cool.
What's the point you want to make?
Oh no, I just got some knowledge for you. I can make some connections. I come from a fraternity that originated in Yale in 1895, and our practices stayed intact for several years, like a long time, and they're just now easing up. But it's a lot of pretty cool connections if you got a minute.
I'm listening.
All right, man. So every week of this initiation, it goes through about, I think it was a 12-week process. But like there's a night where your fraternity brothers get kidnapped, and you've got to save them. And there's like if it smells like shit, eat at night. And it's all kinds of things. Just disgusting rituals to develop bonding, so that when you get out and you're making all these big time connections, that they know they can trust you. So like Mark Cuban was one of my brothers, and Bud Selig, the former commissioner of baseball, and Tony Martin, who was like assistant to the Lone Ranger back in the day. But a lot of people have gone through, and it's really eased up throughout the years. But I mean, since graduating, I've made so many connections. Like it's crazy how messed up it was, and how ritualistic it was for what I see now in the media and your channel. Like just the ritual aspect of it, man. It's pretty messed up.
So I imagine your order was Masonic.
I didn't know any of this until after I graduated, because I was just a dumb, 18 to 22 year old. When you're a kid, you're not paying attention to any of this. You're just in it for the beer and the women, right?
Exactly.
So I mean that's all I was into. And then after graduating, but I would like to tell you, there's a song called Bolero. It's a classical song by Maurice Ravel, and I don't know. I haven't checked myself the gematria on it, but this is a ritualistic song to get people in a trance, and it's kind of like a Manchurian Candidate type song. And if you listen to it, you kind of feel I don't know how to put it. There's kind of an aura to it.
Okay. Can you tell me how to spell this song real quick?
It's Bolero. I think it's Blaro. It's by Maurice Ravel.
Blaro, so like Blaro.
Yeah, Bolero.
But it's pronounced.
And it's a very I don't even know how to describe it. It'll put you in a trance, man. But
who's the song by again? Who sings it?
Maurice Ravel.
Maurice Ravel. I gotta find
this is a ritualistic song used to take people out of space and time. So, like, for my initiation, I was blindfolded, stuffed in a basement, and I had to listen to the song on repeat for 12 hours. And I'm not joking, dude. The song is like 17 minutes and 42 seconds long, or 12 minutes, 42 seconds long, something like that. At the end of 12 hours of listening to this on repeat, you don't know where the hell you're at. Like, there's all kinds of rituals going on throughout the night. You don't know where the hell you're at. I did this in Michigan, and I thought I was in Canada by the end of the night.
I see it's from France, and that's where I began with my discussion tonight. The Scottish Rite, the Jesuits, Paris, Washington D.C., and France. And anyway, I just see this Bolero and Mason have perfect overlap in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. So
now, Mark Cuban is probably the most prominent brother, and then Bud Selig, Tony Martin, and then the senator from Wisconsin, Cole, who's also like an owner of the Cole stores. He's also a big name. And then we got this lawyer, I can't remember his last name. His first name's Dan. He's out of Chicago. I think he's running the show now. But they're trying to move away from the behind the scenes type thing. They're trying to go legit. So about the time I was graduating, they were like banning all the hazing and everything. But they're still connected chapters. The one out of Madison and Wisconsin is probably the most prominent one. Like, if you graduate from this fraternity in Madison, you are hooked up. Another big one is Gainesville, Florida, and then the other one is University of Illinois. And there's like 100 chapters, but I mean, 3 or 4 of them make up all the big money people.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm really glad you're calling in. I hope you don't get yourself in trouble. But, yeah, it just shows you. I mean, there are these networks that exist within our society, and this is how strings get pulled. So
yeah, the brainwashing is nuts. As an 18-year-old, you're basically told that, you know, if you tell any fraternity secrets or you do this or that, you're going to get your ass kicked and you get blackballed or whatever. Now, I'm 34 years old. I don't give a shit now. But, yeah, I mean, there's still brothers that would, you know, throw a fit knowing I said anything, but you know, the overall picture is more important than anything else. And people have blinders on; they don't realize what the hell's going on. But like I said at the beginning of the phone call, it's all about, you know, beer and women when you're 18.
Of course.
And you don't realize what you're actually being brainwashed into. The first night that you're kind of like brought into the pledging period, the brothers are dressed like goats. And there's a fog machine, and they're all bang, making ghost sounds in the background. And it's just really weird. It kind of reminds me of like those Rothschild parties you see where they're wearing like animal heads and dancing around. And but even they don't realize what the hell they're doing. This is how it's been done since 1895.
So are you aware that Goat, Yale, and Masonic all sum to 43?
No, I actually haven't looked into any. Like I've been following you for like 3 years. But I haven't actually like done any gematria on my former fraternity or anything. And I'll give you the name of the fraternity, Zach. It's Pi Lambda Phi.
Pi Lambda Phi.
Yep.
All right, let me look.
And the interesting thing here's their claim to fame is that they were the first fraternity that were non-discriminatory based on religion. Their founders are a Christian, or a Protestant, a Catholic, and a Jew.
Huh. Well-rounded.
But I wish I could remember everything I did back then because it was like I said, it was a multiple-week process, and there was a event every week that was highly, highly ritual. Like the smell like shit, eat it event.
Sure.
was basically like they put a banana in a toilet in a bag, and you're basically blindfolded and your face shoved in the toilet, And if you want to join the fraternity, you got to trust them to eat the shit. And it's just a banana. But that's one of the things, man. If you're willing to eat shit, they know they've got you. And that's all, like, for blackmail purposes. Everything you do throughout those several weeks is all for blackmail.
Sure. Yeah, and it reveals something about your character, too. So.
Yeah. But look at that crest, too, when you get a chance. It's interesting, but there's all kinds of crazy connections I've made since then, and especially paying attention to how Wisconsin and Florida and Illinois do business.
How's that?
Like I said, those chapters out of Madison, out of University of Illinois, and out of Gainesville, Florida, there's some kind of triangle going on there, where those guys, when they graduate, they either get jobs in the fraternity, which is small now, or they end up as like senators, businessmen, connected. Like for whatever reason, there's something going on behind the scenes where with those 3 chapters. And the rest of the chapters have been kind of like toned down. Like they've been told to basically just collect their dues and send them to headquarters.
Interesting.
And I haven't been involved since I was 22, so I don't know what they're like now, but I'm just going based off my college days.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. Great information. So.
Hey, I appreciate the call. I've been trying to talk to you for like 3 years.
Well, you should. Why have you called on my radio show?
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't call, but I've been dropping messages here and there, just being passive, I guess. But finally got the balls up to call you tonight, so that's cool. I'm actually watching you on my computer screen right now with the crest up. It's pretty cool. But yeah, if
look at the motto, Nostros Amimus, however you say it, 48 like Freemason, 159 and 78 like Scottish Rite, and then the name of the fraternity was a lot like Masonic Temple, 206 like Masonic Temple, 55 like Masonic Temple, 62 like Mason. So
the motto in English that they always taught us was not 4 years but a lifetime.
Huh.
And then there's a famous quote by Coco Covener. He was, I think, a pilot in World War I or II, I can't remember. But it's like the motto of the fraternity behind the scenes, which is, you haven't joined something until you've sweated for it, cursed it, hated it, and loved it. And that was like the background theme of why they hazed you, because you had to like go through all those steps to be a brother.
Huh. Very interesting. Yeah. Awesome call, man. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate you taking it.
All right, yeah. Take care.
See you.
Okay, so I was going to look at this story. Ex-NFL star Larry Johnson sounds off on supposed feminizing agenda, essentially is what that means, in 2 sports leagues. Former NFL star Larry Johnson sounded off on social media. See, this is what I hate about this day and age. It's like, how do we even know it's really them? You know what I mean? I'm telling you, they wouldn't put this in the news if they didn't want people to know about it. It's like, well, let's see where they go with it. It is true, though. This agenda to feminize men in the NFL and NBA. And he says high-ranking Freemasons are involved. Really? Caller.
Yes, Zach, on the Larry Johnson agenda, I just want to let you know, men and the players, they wear their tights. That's one. And Super Bowl III, Joe Namath, he made the guarantee. The guaranteed.
Broadway Joe. Broadway Joe.
Yes, he made the guarantee of winning that Super Bowl game.
Right.
And afterwards, he made a famous commercial, Caddy Hose commercial.
Huh. Now that's interesting. I got to look into that. That's a good one.
All right. That's all I got.
Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up?
How you doing? Just real quick, I wanted to call. You're talking about the Larry Johnson. Wasn't there a Larry Johnson that also played in the NBA?
Yeah, played for Charlotte. Yeah,
he used to wear a dress on a commercial and call him.
Oh, yeah, man. How old are you? That was when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm 34.
Oh, so you're just a little bit younger than me. Yeah, that was a commercial. I remember that.
Yeah, I was like Larry Johnson when I heard that. I'm not even all that into sports, but I was more when I was younger, and I remember the Hornets were real big back then. I remember that was real funny. He wore the dress, and that was a real funny commercial.
Right, he was one of the big stars in the league. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird. They're talking about feminization, and this guy was wearing a dress with the same name.
I bet I can pull that up. Larry Johnson, Hornets dress. I remember that. Blue dress. Let's see.
Yeah, with Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah, there it is. Larry Johnson. Was it Grandmama? Yeah, that was the name, Grandmama.
Yeah, Grandmama.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Steve Urkel.
I had to share that with you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, good memory.
Yeah, I remember little details and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is funny. Now we got the Larry Johnson football player. Yeah, I think you're onto something here.
Yeah.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Talk to you later.
Both the Larry Johnsons will probably be dead tomorrow in the headlines, and everyone will think it's a coincidence. Oh, my grandmama. How old was I then? I was probably like 10. Grandmama. Huh. It's weird that it's 54, isn't it? Because this story's coming up before the season of Super Bowl 54, and I was just talking about the Chiefs-related deaths to 54. That's probably exactly where they're going with this, you know? Something else, man. Something else. What's Larry Johnson anyway? I know Larry's 74. 29 like football. Larry Johnson. Think about it. I know things are these numbers, but I'm just thinking about how they fit in with this season. Let's see. NFL free agent Ryan Russell comes out as bisexual. That's the related article. When's that from? 2 days ago. Okay. Always. So he says it's all being run by Masons, and it's to indoctrinate the heterosexual sports world without them knowing. For buying the power of the LGBTQ, 58 like Freemasonry. Isn't it just too many? It's too many letters in an acronym. The reason why is because they wanted the 58. Freemasonry's 58. Secret Society's 58. I think the real reason they want like feminized men is just the same reason they want to disarm the world. Just make it so there's just no chance that they can fight back. You know? There's no chance. And you know what? As I say that, any gay men out there who I'm offending, I used to umpire softball in Seattle, and they'd always ask me to umpire the gay tournament, and I didn't mind doing it just because it was funny. And a lot of those guys in the gay league, you'd never know that they're gay. I mean, some of them you would. Some of them are literally playing softball in a dress. But then other guys, you're like, he's gay? Wow, I would have never guessed that dude was gay. But anyway, when you think of gay people, you think more of the stereotypical type in the dress, but it's not all that way. I'm guilty of that sometimes. So anyway. But yeah, there is an agenda to feminize and weaken men. Not that all gay men are weak. That's the point I'm trying to make. I see it posted at 10:53. 153. Jesuit orders 153. I never even got to the part about the death of Tyler Skaggs, and I missed the whole, I skipped that. Tyler Skaggs' death had a lot to do with the Jesuits. And the Mariners also had the complete team no-hitter against them in the Tyler Skaggs ritual. I missed the boat on that one by like 2 hours ago into the presentation. Anyway, then Johnson explained what he meant using bullet points in his next two tweets. The Vogue fashion show you now get from the team bus car to the locker room. Most of the outfits you think for a 16-year-old boy is not 6'6", 30-plus men. It is true, you know. I don't even know if this is really Larry Johnson or they're just putting this out there as a riddle, which is probably what they're doing. But they do love to put the truth in our face. Just all that is the new NBA. Like back in the day, we didn't always have the camera on the athlete as he walks down from his vehicle to the team bus to the locker room. Oh, look at what he's wearing today. It's just like, I mean, It's too vain. It's just like, ugh. The softening of play. Everyone's a three-point shooter. Noticeable weight loss is what he means by everyone's a three-point shooter is nobody wants to go hard in the paint. You know, you play basketball, you know, you drive to the hoop, you're probably going to get scratched up, maybe your tooth knocked. Not as bad as a hockey player, but I mean, yeah, that's true. I grew up playing a lot of basketball, and a lot of guys don't cut their nails. I don't want to. I want to say something, but I don't want to be perceived the wrong way. If I ever get racist, it's when I'm on a basketball court. There's a certain group of people who don't like to cut their nails when they play basketball, and they like to do it to be cheap. It's not everybody, but trust me, I know from playing enough basketball when I grew up. I noticed who always had the long nails. It's like, okay, you're using your fingers as weapons out here. All right, let's see. Michael, yeah, the whole Michael Sam's thing. Oh my god, yeah. And let's go back to Michael and Sam for a moment. That first part, that first name, two parts. Michael 33, Sam 33, gay 33, homosexual when spelled correctly. 137, the 33rd prime. You know, guys hunched over in tights. The quarterback with his hands under the testicles of the center. Jake Butt, Catholic Church. Tight end, Manchurian athletes. Yeah, they got the pink breast. Look, I really hate. Oh God, it's about to start too. I really hate when I go to the store and all the breast cancer awareness stuff's out there. It's like pink ribbons on dairy products. It's like those are the things that cause breast cancer. Yeah, they want you to buy their product to support breast cancer research, which goes nowhere, while you eat the product with the pink ribbon on it that gives you breast cancer. Welcome to America. Hold on. Johnson's 39 right now. Let me see. All right, let's get to the moment of truth. Let's look at Larry Johnson, the football players. Larry Johnson, football birthday. Let's see. Let's get the right one here. He's born November 19th, huh? What is it about that number 1911? It's another number with a Masonic connection. He's 39 right now. Masonry's 39. Let me see. How many days is it from his birthday? This is today's news, isn't it? Well, it says 1 day ago because now it's the next day. I've been on here so long. All right, it was from August 31st, though. September. Let's see. It comes 80 days before his birthday, or a span of 81. Bavarian Illuminati's 80. Ritual's 81. It means it's 285 days after his last birthday. 11 weeks and 3 days. Scottish 113. His full name's Larry Alfonso Johnson Jr. 108 like geometry. What was this Larry Johnson again? Yeah, I gotta think about that one. Well, sorry, Chris. I'll check it out later. When I'm done with this video, I'm going to go to bed. Trust me. I got to get up early. The Larry Johnson story was first reported Friday. That makes a difference. If it was first reported Friday, it was a span of 82 days from his birthday. And the 82 is also what they coded into the headline. And I know I showed you a team a little bit ago that had a big 82 ritual, which I was even talking about before we looked at this story. So, All right, it was Friday. So, okay, span of 82 days, again, like the number coded in the headline. Vince Lombardi. Yeah, I think you're right about that, what you just wrote there in the chat. I think it's been too long since I talked about that. Vince Lombardi, who died by the numbers. Let me see. Lombardi's got that magic 74 to it. Vince Lombardi is 80. Vince Lombardi's 127, like Scottish Rite of Freemasonry and like Bavarian Illuminati. Bavarian Illuminati's 80 and 127. Again, the Illuminati is just a Masonic organization, so it's not really anything different than what he's talking about, saying that it's all Freemasonry. 103 like Scottish Rite. Wait a minute. 55 touchdowns? Isn't that what was also coded in the headline, the 55? They mentioned that was the last thing of the article. They give you a story that's a minute 18, 78 seconds, where we began. Let's see. Larry Johnson Twitter. Okay. Larry Johnson Twitter, August 30th. There it is. So it was actually August 29th. August 29th. And his birthday is November 19th. August 29th, 2019. So look at that. 82, like what the name of the agenda was. Remember, those were the key words that they emphasized. They emphasized these words right here that equal 82, right? I just talked about a team with an 82 connection. A lot of times the sports and the news are all interconnected. So 82 days before his birthday, he makes these remarks. And if you count the span of days, if you count the span, which is also fair, from his birthday to the date of the story is a span of 83 days, and football's 83. So, and he made the remarks on the 29th of August, football 29. Larry's 29. Larry's speaking out by the numbers. So this is what I mean. Is it even really Larry Johnson's Twitter? I'm sure Larry Johnson still gets stuff from the NFL. I think all these players are on a contract, right? Once they retire, they get a payment each year. So it probably comes with it. At this day and age, you get a Twitter account that the NFL is actually in control of. And they probably did choose Larry Johnson because there's a Larry Johnson basketball player, and back in the day he did a commercial series in a dress, and he was Grandmama. Again, doesn't this all start to make sense? Grandmama 54, and this news is coming right before the season of Super Bowl 54, the 100th NFL season, where if you write out 100, it even equals 54. We're coming off the Patriots 53, Los Angeles Super Bowl. Los Angeles 53-53, the 16th prime, 16 points in Super Bowl 53 between the Patriots and Rams, which we called before the season began. So I'm pretty sure that is the reason they did him, because Larry Johnson, the basketball player, and Grandmama, how it all fits together. And I'm sure if I think about it some more, there'll be even more connections. All right, guys. I think we buried enough truth in this video. Buried's not the word. I think we brought enough truth to light. I think we dropped enough facts and information that anyone who still denies is obviously a tool of the agenda. And if you got here late, you might want to watch this one from the beginning to the end because the whole thing's packed. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
Hello.
You look really tired.
I'm pretty
You've
tired.
been just banging away in the chat section. This is the first time I've been able to be on a live stream with you.
You stay up late.
Oh, I'll be up until dawn. I work late.
I see.
So anyway, I want the people that are listening, especially when you were talking about gays earlier on. I almost called you, but I didn't know the number. But you know, being gay isn't something you get from advertisements or movie things. I mean, either your libido is set up to be attracted to people of the same sex or it's not.
I would have agreed with that at once upon a time, but just based on what I see now, I think there's just you have to think about how much people are influenced by what they see in TV and media, and how it just makes them want to do the things they see the celebrities do, dress the way, talk the way. If they start seeing that all the celebrities they look up to are into taking it in the rear end, maybe they're like, well, maybe I should take it in the rear end. Have you seen that college?
There are a lot of kids that go into, you know, acting and stuff like that. That, you know, they fall for that line, but it doesn't mean that they remain gay for the rest of their lives. I mean, you know, when they grow up enough to make a decision on their own, then they're like, you know, I was royally screwed, which they were. And there is a physiological difference in homosexual men from heterosexual men, and it's in the area of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Now, whether or not they've discovered a drug that will make that grow larger in most men, I don't know. You know, it's possible that they're trying for a population where more men are homosexual so that they can, you know, have that kind of like birth control. I don't know.
Let me interrupt because the morons in the chat who always make assumptions and don't think are screaming, saying that there's gay people before TV. Yeah, no shit. I've always said that I do think people are born gay. The point I'm making is that in this day and age, with all the pop culture and the influence, it's making more people experiment with being gay. And the point I was going to make is when I was in college, a movie came out called Road Trip with Tom Green, and I forget that other guy who was from American Pie. He was in the movie. But in that movie, they introduced the idea that once you find out what it's like to, you know, essentially get fucked in your ass, you like it because everybody has a pleasure sensor in there. And so, you know, as someone who hasn't been rear-ended, I can't speak from experience, but I just wonder. Maybe some people do try out and they're like, hey, actually, I'm kind of into this. This isn't so bad. For whatever reason, I'm just seeing way more, and it could just be because it's open now, but I'm just seeing, like I made the point earlier in this, that I literally have seen more young gay couples holding hands than I have straight couples just in Washington State in recent years.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I grew up in California, so I knew a lot of gays, even when, you know, I was in high school. I mean, they were a lot more open about it, I guess, in California than they were in other states. And because the movie industry is there, of course, it was, you know, it was very acceptable.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I want to just, I appreciate the point you're making. I just want to interrupt the moron in the chat. Sean Griffin, I'm talking to you. The problem with people like you is you start blurting out what you think based on too little information. You know, your comment is not a troll, but from what you're saying, what else can I conclude? Well, what you should conclude is maybe you should do some more fucking research before you start screaming in the chat like an idiot. You are what's wrong with the world. The people who just, they hear one little soundbite and then they've reached all the conclusions. Do you know how fucking dumb you are? For years I've made my point. People who actually know what I think know where I'm coming from. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Get on him.
I hate people like him. He's what's wrong with everything. He's what's wrong with the internet.
Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm really happy that I finally got to see a live stream with you and that I actually got to talk to you and you know, it's just, I know that it seems weird that there's so much coming out about it, and no doubt from what I've seen in the chat, you know, it's working to cause a division with people. But you know, this too shall pass, I think.
We'll see. It just seems
Yeah,
like
I hope so.
it
I
seems
hope
like
so. I'm still on the the path of shapeshifters. And they are androgynous and heterosexual. I mean, not heterosexual, but hermaphroditic. So that would account for a lot of them. It's not like there's just a few of them out there, Zach.
sure,
A lot of them.
sure.
Okay. Well, I love you, and get some rest, for goodness sake.
All right.
I'm going to go back to work.
All right, will do. Thanks for calling. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And then your comment, thanks, I was a fan. I don't have fans. I don't want fans and followers. I want people who care about the truth and want to do something, not morons who are quick to speak out about what they don't know about. So, no, I didn't make any huge assumption about you. I just called you exactly what you are. It's not an assumption. You showed what you were. I addressed it. So, I just get tired of it, People that cry about one statement without even, knowing what they're crying about. No, I know that not all gay people talk in a high-pitched voice. I was just making the point about the softball tournament. There's some manly gay dudes out there. All right, I must be getting tired and cranky. If I look at the chat too long, I always get annoyed, so. Well, we covered about 1 million things tonight, and I stayed on about 2 hours and 40 minutes longer than I intended to, so. All right, yeah, I think we hit it all. All right, Sean Griffin, sounds like I hurt your feelings. All right, we'll start over again, Don't leave dumb comments in my chat and I won't yell at you. You're forgiven. And I imagine you're gay, Sean, and that's okay too, but I've always thought that most gay people must be born gay, but again, I do think the TV's having a big influence. In 2013, when I started this, they at the VMAs that year, they married 33 gay people. And I showed back then on my Facebook, before I did any of this, I showed that gay equaled 33. I said, do you guys think that's a coincidence? And everyone thought it was a coincidence. And I just laughed. I thought, man, people are fucking dumb. So, anyway, we'll leave it there. I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow, probably with the name of the shooter. Until next time.